Roger's like, well, we better go live while the internet works.
Tell me about it. The afternoon show wasn't on Monday.
They've got to be happy. A studio.
Oh, Chris is beside himself.
A studio that is inadequate. And
well, maybe they can just email everybody or text everybody.
Boom. Yeah, that's true.
I did get a blast from them not too long ago about the move.
Is that before or after everything disappeared?
Right. Not going to be hearing much from them lately.
Oh, man.
Good morning, everybody. Good to see you, even though we're not really seeing you.
Is Aurora still MIA?
No, she's been back. She made it back.
Yeah, Sonny's
okay. It's been a couple of my weeks since I've seen her.
Yes. She was gone for a week. She came back late last week. She appeared.
Had the boys all riled up.
I just got a kick out of it. The one guy kept asking her how old she was, and she just kept giving different answers. And it was, I mean, she just toyed with them for like 5 minutes in there. I'm like, God, I hope everybody else is realizing how funny this is.
You gotta love that.
Just so everybody knows, it seems as if 10:45 classes get out. 10:45 to 11, pretty busy time on the South Florida campus, at least by the business school. I didn't watch a second because the Red Wings were on. Probably should. I have to be honest. I came close to turning the Red Wings off and watching TGL when it was 3-0. It's a nice little campus. As someone that's from the north, it's hard for me to say beautiful with a flat campus with, the mossy oaks, but it's a nice campus. It really is.
You're good for the Open today, right, Mark?
I am good for the Open. We are raring to go. In fact, 10 seconds, everybody.
Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this hump day, last one of March. Man, the days, they keep flying by, but so much keeps happening. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Sorry about your wings. Are you okay?
You know what? I'm good. I had a great day yesterday. Everything couldn't have gone better until 7 o'clock hit. From 7 until 9:30. I don't know if I've been this angry at a team that I root for in a long, long time.
You haven't. As somebody who's sat across from me for 20 years now, I'm trying to remember. I mean, there was disappointment when the Tigers couldn't get over the hump there from 2006 to 2013 at various times. But you were thrilled that you were getting 7 meaningful months of baseball. Okay, just a little disappointment at the end, but you knew they were all in. They were trying like hell. Okay, and you loved it.
Yeah, I want to say in my house in Bonita Springs, there was a Michigan State football loss in which I punched a door.
Was it the block punt to Michigan?
No, God, no. That was
Okay.
exuberance. I mean, even throughout that game, it wasn't. It was. I don't remember if it was in Nebraska, it was Iowa, it was somebody they lost late to, and blew a game, and I was very, very angry, very angry.
All right.
But you know, I look back now and would do anything to have the D'Antonio years again. Oh my goodness.
Yes,
You know, I really, I would do any outside of give up one of my children. I mean, I would do damn near anything to get those years back. But I've invested a lot of time into this hockey team.
Yes.
And they are, for the third consecutive March, in a free fall. And they are letting me and every other Red Wing fan down. And what's bothersome is they're playing the way that I hate. I think that's what I figured out why I'm so disappointed is that if I were running this team, and you always play GM, but with this team, I quietly play GM. I do with you during texting, but never on the show because no one really cares. But this isn't the type of team I would put together. This is the opposite of the type of team that I like. I like Tampa.
Yes.
I like the Florida Panthers. I loved the way the Panthers played right on the edge for 3 years. Tampa looked at them and said, you know, we used to beat them. We were better than they were. And now they're better than us. And Brisebois, their GM, said, why are they better than us? And a light bulb went off, David. And that light bulb said, we have to be tougher.
Yep.
We have to be more physical. We have to be grittier.
Yep.
We have to have our bottom 6 guys kick their bottom 6 guys' ass. And largely, they put that team together. They're tough on the blue line. They're tough on the back 6. And that makes their first 6 tougher because there's something behind them. And look at them last night. Down early, they battle back. They end up winning 6-3 with a couple empty net goals. But they came from behind. Big home game for them. They're trying to chase down Buffalo.
Yep.
And it's a measuring stick against a team that is one of the elite in the league. And what did the Tampa Bay Lightning do last night? They answered the bell.
Down 2-0, down 3-1, and not only down 2-0, but early in the game, like one of their tough, respected veterans who they just had reacquired, Corey Perry, he got his butt kicked. Now, I will say, I thought he got jumped. I thought the other guy should have gotten a 2-minute instigator penalty because Corey wasn't looking to fight, and a bigger, younger guy decided he was going to, start throwing punches first when Corey wasn't ready. Okay, and he cut him badly because he hit him with a punch and Corey's visor came down and cut the bridge of his nose badly. Okay, but so they were losing early, Mark, and they had lost the fight early. So then after Minnesota makes it 2-0, Tampa sends out a guy who says to Foligno, we're going to fight. And so they have a good little tussle. And then Tampa's all of a sudden, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, 3-3 going to the third. And the Lightning against the team who's certainly one of the 5 best teams in the league, but quite frankly, might be one of the 3 best teams in the league. And they're all in the same division. And they came from a 2-goal deficit twice against one of the best teams in the league. And they won.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And they're not afraid. And this is where, the Getzels of the world, and Getzel's not ever going to be considered a tough guy. He's a goal scorer. That's what his job is.
Yep.
But Getzel's not afraid to go to the areas that are necessary to score goals.
So funny you say that, Mark. I don't know if you saw the goal he scored last night. He gets knocked down, gets cross-checked from behind in front. Now, not directly in front of the net, but about 5 feet in front of that spot. He gets cross-checked from behind, knocked to the ground. He's not back on his skates yet. Okay, he's just lifting the one knee off the ice. The other knee is on the ice. The puck is near him. He snipes it and scores.
Well, but that's really, look, going to the front of the net is its own level of toughness. But it's really right where you talked about. That's where you score goals from. Where you're in front of that, you tip goals in. But if you're going to shoot and score, you've got to get into areas that are painful. And Tampa's guys are not afraid to go to that area. Buffalo's guys are not afraid to go to that area. Minnesota, Colorado, Dallas. I watch my team. They don't know what that area of the ice is. They barely can find it on the power play when they've got one more guy than the other. And last night in a big game for the Tampa Bay Lightning, what were the hits? 20-20. My team at home in a must-win situation against a team that's trying to track them down and make the playoffs. They got out hit 26-13. They're soft as baby dew.
Oh.
They're soft as baby dew, and it's painful to watch.
And it bothers you.
Oh, it really bothers me.
And it's got to bother you now more than anything, because then this is the toughest you've ever been in your life right now. Here you are, you're fighting off death, okay, fighting off leukemia, okay, working while doing it, okay, and tell me you're not sitting there going, I'd go to the front of the net. I'd love to go to the front of the net and get beaten up.
I'd take a cross check. I took one. I did the show while taking one, okay?
It's right.
So,
yeah.
It's painful to watch, but go Bolts. I am eerily close to just saying, you know what? I'm just going to watch Tampa because I enjoy it more. They play the way I want a team to play.
Well, at this rate, you're not going to watch the Wings for about 3 weeks tops.
I said that after they, nearly lost to Calgary, for crying out loud. But, the Bolts with the big win last night.
Yep.
Will they track down Buffalo? I don't know. But I'll tell you what, I hope I like the fact that they're going to end up 1-2 in the division. I like the fact that they're not going to be in the first round. I hope Buffalo can get through whomever they play in the first round and not have a letdown. Because the way Buffalo and Tampa have played against one another, it's on right now.
Yeah, it sure is.
I mean, give me 6 games of these two teams playing one another. Sign me up right now to see who represents that division in the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm in. I'm all in because Carolina's clearly better than the other teams in their division. Pittsburgh's had a nice season. They've played some really nice games.
Yeah,
they've hung with damn near everybody. But, David, when Pittsburgh plays Carolina, Carolina kicks their butts.
Yeah, when Pittsburgh tries to go up a notch, like the last 2 games, they played Colorado and Carolina, they've lost 11-3.
Right. I mean, but they beat Colorado last week. So they've been able to beat some good teams, but not Carolina. So, Carolina looks to be the class of that division. I will be interested, though, if Carolina faces a Boston or even, Ottawa who hits, because Carolina's not a physical team. So there are a couple wild card teams that I think could make life a little more difficult on Carolina. But Tampa right now, they're, you said it. If they get Montreal, they should be able to pound through Montreal.
They'll be fine against Montreal. It'll be nice for Martin St. Louis to go back to Tampa for a few games, get nice ovations behind the bench. They may even show a highlight or two. That Game 6 overtime goal against Calgary might make an appearance on the screen during the series. But
you think in the playoffs? I wouldn't. I'm not being a jerk. I wouldn't.
Maybe if they're about ready to wrap the series up, okay, right before the handshake line. Okay.
Because I don't even think they get an ovations. I think he'll get an ovation. Game 1 at home. After that, that's it. We gave you your little clap, cute, nice. Now we need to kick the tar out of you.
Yeah, I'd applaud him all 3 times. That's just me, though. I mean, for what he gave them, why are you applauding that guy? You see that banner up there, right there, 2004? Yeah. He had a big role in that. Okay, really? Yeah. So we're going to give him 8 seconds of 15-foot birdie putt applause, if that's okay.
Right. But I don't think there'll be a lot of video work. I think they'll show them. And you're right, because there are still people that wear St. Louis jerseys to Tampa Bay Lightning. He was a very popular player, obviously. I mean, not only a really good Tampa Bay Lightning player, but an incredibly popular Tampa Bay Lightning player. So that looking like a first round series. If they don't track down Buffalo still strong. But Tampa, sometimes going on the road, David, is what a team needs. And we said it, they were playing mostly inferior opponents. They were. But they kicked the crap out of the first two and then beat up on Edmonton and said, oh, okay, here we go.
They went 3-0-1 on the road trip, came home, and fought their way back from 2-2 goal deficits for a big win last night. They're 2 points behind the Sabres with still a game in hand. Buffalo has more regulation wins, so they own the tiebreak. These two teams meet one more time in Buffalo in 2 weeks.
Lots happened in the sports world yesterday. I want to thank David for allowing me to talk hockey during the baseball hour on opening day. But we'll go to North Carolina, talk with Josh Graham, Seth Everett in his usual spot, and David Laurila to talk baseball. All coming up, Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I've got 3 poll questions in my head right now. Notice no eye contact, everybody. That's why I'm waiting. That's all right. There was no eye contact. I was patiently waiting.
Okay, go.
All right. It's National Manatee Day.
Ooh.
What's your favorite Florida creature, if you will? The dolphin, the turtle, the manatee, the alligator. Those are kind of Florida things.
Well, turtle's
Good
the only one.
choices.
Well, the sea turtle, not the big turtle. I'm talking the sea. I'm talking the
I
big
got
one.
you.
All right.
I know.
It's National Waffle Day.
French
We've done the
toast
waffle, pancake, French toast. What do you like on your waffle? Fruit, syrup. I don't like waffles.
Butter.
Okay, I put butter and syrup. I'm a butter.
Oh,
I
okay.
got to put both. I'm okay. Yeah, butter, syrup,
Fruit.
fruit,
Nothing.
nothing. And then, what's your excitement level for opening day? That's where I'm at. It's Manatee Appreciation Day, by the way. I am such a dick. The a-hole moment of the show is coming right now on Twitter.
Please do share.
Well, I'm going to wait for David to read it.
Read what?
The poll question. It's so bad when I got to change. I got to check the spelling of damn near everything I spell. I'm such a moron. All right. The manatee question is up. What's going on here? Okay, I see what I did. Let's get ready. We could, Ocala Chris, but I'm sorry. I've already got the other question up. I did what's your favorite Florida water creature, just to keep, so someone doesn't have to say, I like the panther better.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
We are on fire on this hump day. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. I think we're going to have 3 poll questions done before the starting 5. 3. Yes. By the way, yesterday, after it being neck and neck for a good chunk of the day, the Brady fans showed up late. All the late votes were for Tom Brady. We asked, yesterday was Peyton Manning's 50th birthday. And so we came up with a poll question where we thought we could put him in it, which was, okay, of all these Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, okay, who would be your guy if the teams were even? And we gave you Peyton, we gave you Brady, we gave you Mahomes, we gave you Joe Montana. Mahomes finishing last, by the way. I'm a little surprised at that. I mean, somebody had to, I know, but I was a little surprised at that. I thought it would be Peyton. But Brady won it. Joe Montana, a solid second. then Peyton, and then Patrick. That was our poll question yesterday.
It was funny. I was between Mahomes and Montana, and somehow I inadvertently clicked Montana, so that's what I went with. I was about to vote Mahomes, but and for the reasons Pat talked about, of the four, he's the only one that can do things with his legs.
Well, see, I remember Joe Montana. He was not a runner, but Joe was very mobile. They did a lot of things out of the pocket. The catch to Dwight Clark was him buying time going to his right. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he wasn't Steve Young running around out there, but I don't know. I remember Montana being more athletic than people were giving him credit for yesterday, but he finished second. The old guy finished second, but the GOAT remains the GOAT. Even if you frame it a certain way, Tom Brady wins. That's what he does. But today's Manatee Appreciation Day. There was a hell of a suggestion in our chat room. Johnny Mack said, it's Manatee Appreciation Day. Why don't you go give a big person a hug?
And David, I'll just try to give you a virtual one then.
Thank you. I'm a lot smaller than I was when it fit. I still call myself a manatee. All right. But here's my question. If you walk up to a big person and you start to give them a hug, what type of reaction do you think you'll get?
Depends on the person. I mean, because if someone walked up to you, I mean, obviously, it would be weird if a bunch of guys walked up to you. But if we were still in an office, which is, a generation ago now, or so it seems.
Yes.
But if we were still in an office, and I'm thinking of several of the women that we worked with that really liked you, because there were a lot of them.
Yeah.
And one in particular that we both liked a lot, salesperson, she's a great lady. If she walked up to you and said, you look like you need a hug, you would just melt and give her a hug and feel fantastic. It would not bother you one bit.
Totally. It's right. There's a few of them. If they came up to me and said, I want to give you a hug, I'd be like, and I want to give you one back.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I will let this out. How I framed the question is today is David Moulton Day, a.k.a. Manatee Appreciation Day.
Oh, my goodness. Look at you. Okay. I understand you got to get it out. The wings are causing you real pain. So I'll take it. I will take it.
I said during the break it was the a-hole moment of the show, and it's in print.
Okay. It is true, though. I do call myself, when people ask me to describe myself, I go, think manatee.
And so we asked, what is your favorite Florida water creature? Manatee, dolphin, sea turtle, alligator. I'm a sea turtle guy. I was a dolphin guy for many years, and I love the manatee. Alligators are cool as all four of them. Very cool. They are. When you see a manatee, it's awesome when you're out in a boat. And I remember being at Dog Beach and a pod of manatee came by. It was one of the coolest things I've seen. But since I've started to, and I have not in a while, I love fishing. And dolphin eat the fish. When dolphin are around, the fishing hole goes to crap.
Right.
When you see a sea turtle out in the ocean, there's usually a lot of fish underneath it. So not only are sea turtles amazing creatures to see in the wild, they also mean we got fish.
I almost voted for sea turtle because I have a granddaughter now. She's 4. And we're on the 3rd floor, and we have a very nice view. We overhang a body of water, and she'll go out on it and she'll look. And from where we are, she can always see some sea turtles. But she doesn't.
Some turtles.
And she'll see them. And of course, you're not supposed to raise your voice because, voices carry. And I mean, literally, if we talk at a certain level, they can hear us across the body of water. Okay. They've even commented on things that we've been talking about. I mean, your voice really carries. And so we've told her, listen, you can't make too much noise when you're out here. And she goes, okay, until she sees the sea turtles. And then she goes, turtles, turtles. Right. So I almost voted just for that reason.
I like it. Well,
Anytime
like
to violate the local ordinance.
I like the Amy Mann reference too. Hush, hush, voices carry.
Yes.
But it's also International Waffle Day. That was for Raj back in the studio. Today being International Waffle Day, what do you put on your waffle? Butter, syrup, fruit. I don't do waffles. Yes, I understand some of you put fruit and whipped cream on there. I understand people like me put butter and syrup on there, but choose one, damn it. It's not that hard. So those are your choices. There's going to be a baseball question coming before the starting five. I just didn't have enough time during the commercial break. I've got the question all formed. I just need to type it and hit post. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller _Moulton on X. If you're not a subscriber to X, you can always text us on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line 21,000. The keyword is Miller. Text Miller to 21,000 and then let it rip.
We will do our baseball over-unders tomorrow, since only the Yankees and the Giants play tonight. Okay, I think the over-unders would still be intact if we do them tomorrow before there are 11 other games, and everybody will be in action by Friday.
Although I may look at the Giants today to see, you have a good feeling about the Giants this year. You kind of hemmed and hawed about that team a couple of times. Just when we were looking at who's going to be wild cards, I know you've mentioned them. So I just want to see what their over-under number is.
I do too. There were a bunch of teams right around 500 last year in the National League.
Right, and the Yankees usually are an inflated number, but it's a tough one to go under. Where's Tampa going to be this year? Where's Baltimore going to be this year? Toronto, I think, will take a step back. Doesn't help that Yusevich, one of the pitchers they're counting on, starting on the IL. So, Boston, I think, could be a little better.
Oh, I think Boston will be a lot better. I actually think the Red Sox finish ahead of the Blue Jays. I think it's Yankees-Red Sox to win the East this year.
Oh, NBC's happy with that comment, David. They have baseball now, and that's exactly what they want.
Yep.
They just assume those two play for the ALCS somehow, and the winner gets the Dodgers. And if not the Dodgers, the Cubs. So nothing spells ratings out like making sure you get the good teams. But baseball tonight with the Yankees and Giants starting the season. It starts in full force tomorrow. The tourney gets back going tomorrow. And Friday, I know Friday's the bigger day of the two tournament days because the big boys all seem to be playing on Friday.
Well, the DC regional. I know that coaches get way too much attention in college basketball. Okay, but my goodness. I mean, the number of Final Fours and national championship appearances. And imagine if Coach K was still coaching Duke instead of John Shire. But to have Pitino, Izzo, and Hurley? Damn. The starting five is next.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe. and Seth. Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I can't help it, Raj. Every time David utters a word that happens to be a song that I know lyric, I'm thinking of the song. He goes voices
I'm
carried.
so the same way.
He goes voices carried, and I'm watching the video of Amy Mann until Tuesday, and her in the theater screaming. That's right where my head went.
That is an amazing song, by the way. Underrated, I think.
Do you know that she sang backup on, and I don't know what, if you look it up, she sang backup for Rush.
I did not know that.
I didn't either. They brought her in after that song. I think it was after that song. They brought her in, and she did backup. Now I got to look. Because they were pretty big.
I love her voice.
I do too.
Have you ever heard the Magnolia soundtrack that she did?
No.
Good stuff on there. I think she did the whole soundtrack for that movie.
I'm seeing that right now. When I tried to Google what. Time Stands Still.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you think if you think about it, that's like, holy crap. Yeah, she did. I mean, it's like you listen to the song in your head, like, okay, now I get it.
Yeah.
But I have such a
It would have taken me a while to get there just thinking about it, but yes.
Right. I mean, I have such a thing for female lead singers. It just about all of them.
You know what? Me too. And even like the techno stuff, I have a soft spot for female leads on those types of songs too.
Like, I was lucky enough in college. A buddy of mine was a big music guy, bigger than me. He got me into a lot of great bands, and the Cowboy Junkies were playing. He goes, let's go see these guys. And they played at the MSU Union Ballroom, small room. There might've been 300-400 people in there, and everybody was on the floor sitting Indian style, basically, and watched. And first off, she was that, I can't, her name escapes me right now. It'll come to me. Because her brothers were all in the band too. When they did Sweet Jane, I'm like, this is so good.
Oh, I love that version.
I do too. The other one on this show, and I've told David, I think I've said it on air, whenever he gets halfway through the show, he goes halfway home, and I always say my pager's still blowing up. I go right to Cube. I say it in my head every single day.
Margot Timmons is the.
There you
singer.
go, Margot Timmons. Thank you. Very good. Good pull. David,
I had
here's
to
my
look it up. I
answers.
couldn't think of it either.
We can change this. I used one word on purpose just because I thought it fit the older crowd that likes baseball. What is your excitement level for the baseball season? Answer one is overjoyed. Hope my team starts well. Wake me up July 4.
Okay.
Do you want? Is there? I mean, does that work?
I love overjoyed.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Josh Graham will join us 1 hour from now. Longtime member of the North Carolina media, a couple different parts of Carolina. He's now gone national. We'll have him on to talk about Carolina's firing of Hubert Davis. Seth Everett will make his weekly appearance. And Yankees Giants get the baseball season underway tonight. Where else but Netflix? We'll talk to David Laurila.
You are so angry.
No, I'm not.
You are so damn
actually,
angry.
I'm not. Michael, the broadcasters are angry. Those that aren't broadcasting their team on opening day. Michael K is just fit to be tied.
But
all right,
he wouldn't have done the game if it was on ESPN. I don't know what he's getting so upset about. There's always a first game on ESPN that's not on the home team's announced schedule. What the hell's he complaining about?
I think last year, didn't Joe Buck do Milwaukee and the Yankees on opening day? Okay, it was like an opening day triple header, and I thought that Joe Buck came out of retirement and did a baseball game last year. But anyway, Josh Graham, Seth Everett, David Laurila, talk about a variety of things coming up. Before we go to the starting five, you had promised a baseball poll question. You have one?
I have one. I must say I did get a text quickly because the one question on the, Florida water creatures, a buddy of mine sent me a text. He's in Michigan. He listens every day. What the hell is a manatee? I had to send him a picture.
Did you send him one of me? No? Just anyway.
God, I missed an opportunity. I really did.
Yes, really did.
But it's just a simple one, just trying to gauge people's level of excitement for the baseball season. What is your level of excitement for the baseball season? You have three choices. Overjoyed, because I wanted to use a word that really hit home with our baseball crowd. You don't have to be over 60. You just have to act like it. Hope my team starts well and wake me up July 4. Those are your choices.
All righty then.
I went with B. Hope my team starts well. That's sincere. I'll pay attention today and tomorrow, and then it's trying to continue to pay attention to more than just my team with the rest of the basketball tournament, with the Masters. We've got baseball. We got hockey playoffs coming.
Stop bringing up potential distractions. If you're overjoyed like me, you pay attention. Okay. If you're distracted like you, then, whatever. 19 minutes before the hour. Time now for
The Starting Five. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is The Starting Five.
When they canceled his radio show on Monday, that was not a good sign. Hubert Davis fired after 5 years. Disappointing end to this season. They were 24-6. They were a top 4 seed in any region in the country, and their best player gets hurt, breaks a thumb. They lose to Duke. They lose early in the conference tournament. They blow a 19-point second-half lead to VCU. Hubert Davis out as head coach in North Carolina. Boy, they better have somebody lined up. That's all I got to say. By the way, do not be surprised if Roy Williams walks away from the North Carolina basketball program. This is a major decision. I'm surprised they did it. I'm surprised they didn't give him another year or two, to be honest. He's one of them, okay, handpicked by Roy Williams. You have no idea how big a decision this is by North Carolina. One other men's basketball note, Xavier Lee of the Gators says, yeah, I'm going elsewhere. I'm transferring. By the way, what a coup for South Florida women's basketball yesterday. They got the sitting Alabama head coach, Christy Curry, to leave Alabama for South Florida. Now, she hasn't said as to why, but I think a big reason is no women's basketball program in the SEC got less money from their school than Alabama. So instead of protesting, in which she knew it wasn't going to be heard, she just got up and left for the team in the American that gets the most money. Good coup for the Bulls. Baseball, you may have heard us discuss Yankees and Giants, 8 o'clock tonight on Netflix. It's the season opener, Max Fried against Logan Webb. Garrett Cole, by the way, pitched his second spring outing yesterday at 3 strikeouts in an inning and 2/3. He's on track for late May. New Giants manager Tony Vitelli, straight from the college ranks, never been done before, no pro coaching or managing experience of any kind. Buster Posey hired the Tennessee baseball coach, Tony Vitelli, to be their manager.
Is he aware, David, that you have a starting rotation, not weekend starters and weekday starters now?
Who knows? Maybe he'll have midweek starters and weekend starters. Who knows, Mark? Okay, so who's that guy over there? Oh, he's my Friday night guy. Gotcha. Cubs signed Pete Crow Armstrong, 6 years, $115 million. They offered him like half that last year at this time. He said, no, I'm good. Good decision for PCA.
24 years old today.
And the Tigers made the decision to start the guy who's recognized as the second best prospect in baseball, 21-year-old Kevin McConaughey. They're going to start him at shortstop. He makes the team. He starts at shortstop. Let's go. Let's do this.
I'm happy for him. I'm happy for the Tigers. You know, you and I both love this. When the guy's supposed to play, don't wait a year to get his,
Right.
to get that arbitration a year back. If they're all in with Skubal and the pitcher that they picked up and all the things that they say they're doing, then if this guy's ready, let's go.
Wish the Pirates would do that with their number one prospect.
But they're not.
But of course they're not. Why? Because they're the Pirates.
And they're cheap.
He'll make his debut tomorrow against the Padres, Will McConaughey. 4 games in the NBA last night. Cavs got 42 from Donovan Mitchell, held off Orlando, 136-131.
That's a cover for the Magic. We told you yesterday, as badly as they played against the Pacers, you got to take the, 10.5 in the Magic last night.
By the way, the Magic, the Heat, and the Charlotte Hornets are all tied with the same record. One's going to be the 8, one's going to be the 9, one's going to be the 10. How about that? Knicks over the Pelicans, 121-116, their 7th win in a row. Speaking of Charlotte, they hit 26 threes, tying a franchise record. They beat Sacramento by 44. And this Jokic guy had 23 points, 17 rebounds, 17 assists. Hit the game-winning bucket, Denver over Phoenix, 125-123. The NBA Players Association came out yesterday and said, we really need to change this 65-game rule. If you don't play in 65 games, and this was collectively bargained, by the way, so the union just 2 years ago agreed to it. But if you don't play in 65 games, you're ineligible for any and all awards. You're also ineligible to make an all-NBA team. What has triggered this? Cade Cunningham's injury. They think it's unfair. They think, listen, he could miss the rest of the season, play in about 60, 62 games, but you got to be kidding me. You're not going to put Cade Cunningham on an all-NBA team? Not only that, I mean, the union's not saying this out loud. He actually got hurt hustling, diving for a loose ball and took a knee in the left ribs.
And trust me, it's not the MVP that they're worried about here. It's those all NBA teams. Because, David, what do all NBA teams trigger?
Salary increases.
There you go.
So, listen, it's collectively bargained. I mean, why would the owners and the commissioner revisit this before they have to?
And for every Cade Cunningham, there's 10 guys that are load management guys, and that's why they're doing it.
15 games in the NHL last night. The Lightning, with 5 unanswered, came back and beat the Wild 6-3. Panthers in a shootout, 5-4 over the Kraken, who have fallen 5 points out of the playoffs. What a bad loss for the Bruins at home. Lost to the Maple Leafs 4-2. They're still the first wild card, but that's 2 very valuable points that they left there on the vine. Speaking of tough losses, the Wings at home lost to Ottawa 3-2. All right. Ottawa's tied.
Wouldn't you have to be tough to have a tough loss?
It's a good point. A soft as baby dew loss for the Wings at home last night.
Thank you.
Ottawa tied for the final playoff spot. They own the tiebreaker. The Wings are out of the playoffs. Penguins are still in the playoffs, but they lost at home to Colorado 6-2 last night. The Islanders are falling apart here. The Islanders are just giving away playoff spots. They lost at home to Chicago 4-3. Montreal was down 2-0 in the second to Carolina. They scored 5 unanswered. They beat the Hurricanes 5-2. Montreal's in third place. They'd play the Lightning right now if the playoffs got underway. Man, give it up to the Nashville Preds. They got off to a horrid start. Would have been real easy to blow that team up. And those guys, instead of looking for a way out, they rallied. And the Preds are now firmly in the playoffs in the West, 3 points ahead of the LA Kings. Preds double up San Jose 6-3. Speaking of the Kings, they lost in a shootout to Calgary 3-2. Dallas losing at home to the Devils, and you can kiss that division goodbye. Colorado's lead had been cut to 2. It's now up to 7. Vegas is slumping. They're still in the playoffs, but not by much. Winnipeg beat them 4-1. Big win for Edmonton, 5-2 over Utah. Both teams are in the playoffs. Anaheim's lead in the division's now 5 points. They beat Vancouver 5-3. Columbus with a big win at Philly 3-2. The Blue Jackets are in second place in their division. And the Blues shut out the Caps 3-0. Joe Flacco's 41 years old, and he's going to play another year. And he's going to start it in Cincinnati. Who knows where he'll finish it. But he signed a 1-year, $6 million deal, and with bonuses, he could earn $9 million. Not bad to be Joe Burrow's caddy. And the NFL, wait for it, they're considering major rule changes in case of a referee's work stoppage. The biggest of which, it would create a centralized officiating office in New York that essentially they could correct all the bad or missed calls that are going on throughout the league. So we don't have what we had 15 years ago, okay, when the Packers caught the ball in the end zone against the Seahawks and they awarded Seattle the game-winning touchdown. Imagine that. Listen, we got to stick it to the refs, but we know the guys we're going to bring in are going to be horrible. Okay, so we're going to have a grand poobah in New York, and he's going to try to keep up with all the horrible calls and change them. And this is only during this officiating lockout. This isn't going to continue when we bring the regular guys back. We're going to go back to the old rules already in progress. And finally, since it gets the same ratings as hockey, I think I have to. Tigers showed up to rally the troops, and they got their butts kicked anyway. Los Angeles finished with 3 straight Eagles. The golf club beat the Lynx from Jupiter 9-2. That's it. It's over. Los Angeles, your champions. Dodgers, golf club, just the city of champions. No more TGL. So sad. And at 8 minutes before the hour, that was the starting five, brought to you by Lee County, Florida, building a better community through BST, not TGL, through BST, business, sports, and tourism. And Lee
There you
County
have it.
saying, see you spring training in 2028.
I may add that to the crawl.
Oh.
For those of you that don't watch and listen on the radio, we have a crawl during that with our sponsors for different segments. I may add that to the crawl for the remainder of Lee County's sponsorship of the program. Because it's going away in a few days.
I know.
We owe them some in April because they started a little late, but we
Okay. All right.
but it's going away. So just letting you know, if you're out there, there are opportunities aplenty on the Miller and Moulton show. We need
Boy,
you.
are ever.
We need you. We, the sales guy's been out of commission for a while.
Right. He's been watching
I can
too much
do
hockey.
Zoom meetings. That's about it. Miller and Moulton. We'll talk some North Carolina basketball next hour.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Some rings are beautiful. Corey rings are unforgettable. April 17th through the 19th, Corey brings their entire collection to the Diamond District. Extraordinary engagement, breathtaking wedding bands, and Corey's newest fine jewelry for spring. Here for one unforgettable weekend. The Legend of Corey. April 17th through the 19th at the Diamond District. Hablamos Espanol.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I have a buddy that's in Mexico City right now. He said it's amazing.
What's amazing about it?
Just the city itself. It just, this man's traveled a lot. He used to work in the travel business. He's been pretty much all over the world. He's the one, I think I told you about him. His daughter was it that Bright Future scholarship where she was teaching English in the Czech Republic. So they went over to see her and did the Czech Republic and Croatia and, places most of us would never go to. That's what he said. He said Prague was amazing. He really liked it. Wow, Javier. Okay. Yeah, I know. I kind of knew that, so I'm sure he's enjoying all of that. But I also think he had to do something nice for his wife because he just bought just put a purchase agreement down on a 45-acre fish camp that I really don't think his wife's into.
Mm-hmm.
There is a taco place here. I don't know if it got a Michelin star, Javier, but it got they did a whole Michelin thing in Tampa, so there was a lot of recognition. I think it's Streetlight Taco or something like that. I got to check out. A lot of brunch choices here in Tampa. Wife and daughter are coming up Sunday. Got to find a brunch place. I think I've got my choice. It's the closest and it looks pretty damn good. And I don't have to go to downtown. David, I got a few happy texts for you to start this segment if you'd like.
Good.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this hump day, final such hump day of March. Giants Yankees tonight on Netflix to get the baseball season going. Tomorrow, the baseball season in earnest with 11 other games. One more day of taking a deep breath before the madness settles back in with the Sweet 16 tomorrow. But huge college basketball story. Hubert Davis ousted as head coach of North Carolina. I mean, you got to realize that Dean Smith chose Bill Guthridge because he didn't want North Carolina to hire outside the family. And so he quit late. I mean, almost like Bruce Pearl. So they had to give the job to Guthridge. Guthridge, his longtime lieutenant, took him to 2 Final Fours in 3 years, and everybody thought he was an idiot. So then they do the Matt Doherty thing. Oh, boy. Former player. That didn't go well.
No, it did not.
So they run to Kansas and beg Roy Williams, beg him. Now, they begged him because they didn't want to give it to Guthridge, but he said, no, I'm staying in Kansas. Now, however many years later, they beg him, no, you got to do it now. He leaves Kansas to come back and save North Carolina, wins what, 2-3 natties. Okay, does a great job.
More than
Retires.
Dean, right?
I think so. He definitely won as many.
Yeah.
Okay, he definitely won as many. I'm trying to figure out, did he win 2 or 3? Because Dean won the 2, both in New Orleans, ironically. And then he handpicks Hubert Davis. So it's been in the family since Dean Smith. I mean, this is well over 60 years. It's been in the so-called Carolina family. And Mark,
all I can say, I lived in North Carolina for a while. Everything David said is 100% accurate, obviously. But I didn't fully comprehend the power of Dean Smith until the day he retired. I'm doing late afternoons. I think I'm doing 6 to 8. It was my first gig in sports radio. And the GM of the station, we found out that Dean Smith was retiring. Mark, we need you to go live at noon. I did noon to 6. They found a bar in Chapel Hill that would let us set up. They didn't get paid anything by the bar. They wanted someone from the sports station. And we were mostly, I think there was a news show in the morning that was local. And local, like when you did 10 to noon, I think, Mike Solarte, who's now in Charlotte, I want to say Mike did 10 to noon because he was working for the Fox station. So he did 10 at night on TV. And after Solarte's show, I went for 6 hours live. And it was as simple as this. This was back then, every station took calls, as did we. Give the phone number out, hang up and listen for 6 hours. And that was the moment that I realized just how big that was there.
he was a godlike figure, wasn't he?
Yes, because in Raleigh, you've got a lot of NC State people. There's just as many, if not more, North Carolina people. But it's not Chapel Hill. And, the triangle is what it is, but Raleigh's not Chapel Hill. It's not. And the world stopped, or that part of the world stopped that day for Dean Smith. And yet, as you said, Guthrie there, they bring in, he had success by any measure at any school, anywhere.
Right.
He had unbelievable success.
Right. 3 years, 2 Final Fours.
And they couldn't get rid of him fast enough.
They're like, oh, please, come on. Can we get a new coach already?
So, I don't know if this is, to me, this is whether it be Coach Bowden at Florida State. I'm trying, Bo or Woody. I mean, this is the level that was.
The reason why I don't like this move, and normally, I love coaching changes. I love trades. I love action.
You probably love coaching changes the least, though, of all of them. You are not a fire the coach. I mean, by rule, you're not a fire the coach guy.
Well, just let me ask you a question. Objectively, if their best player doesn't break his thumb, is he going to get fired?
I don't think so, David.
No, they're going to be a top 4 seed. They're not going to go out early in the ACC tournament. They're going to win at least one more game in the ACC tournament. Okay. They're going to get a better draw even than a 6-11 matchup with VCU. They're going to win their first round game. I mean, none of the top 4 seeds lost their first round games. Okay. So now you're looking at a 26-win season minimum. And you're through to the second round of the tournament. And by the way, you're favored to win that second round game, even if it's a 4-5 game, because you're the 4. I mean, they were going to be a top 4 seed in any region before their best player broke his thumb. And I'm just wondering, are we firing him because his best player broke his thumb? And I'll say it again. You make a move like this, and Bubba Cunningham's been the AD there for a long time. He understands how momentous this is, even though he's on his way out and they got a fairly new university president and they've already picked the incoming AD, and the 3 of them were in on it together. But Bubba truly knows how momentous this is. You better have the next guy already done. And I don't see how that's possible if the reporting we're getting is accurate, where basically they were undecided till dinner time last night.
And David, it's so funny you say that because I have one text on it. We have a North Carolina fan who listens to the show regularly. He came after me a couple of times because I don't like them. They drove when I lived there. Everybody knows I'm a diehard Spartan. I don't like the Michigan fan. I have all the respect in the world for the university. I've never been a big fan of those who root for them. Grads, they're wonderful. Fans drive me nuts. And I thought the same thing when I lived in Raleigh. North Carolina fans were obnoxious. It is an unbelievable academic university. It is one of the prettiest campuses that you will see in this country. It is. It's gorgeous.
If you visit the University of North Carolina, whether you're just a general student or you're an athlete to be, I don't know how you don't go there. It's gorgeous.
But here's what this person said, and they're a diehard Tar Heel fan. Nothing personal against Hubert Davis, but he had to go. Now listen to the next sentence, David, because it's exactly what you talked about. Now I'm very nervous who they will hire, as this is the same administration that hired Belichick. Now, First off, when they got Belichick, everybody was pretty excited. There weren't a lot of people slapping that around. But the fact that I'm very nervous of who they'll hire now, that's exactly the point that you were making. We talked about this with Kentucky. They couldn't wait to get rid of John Cal, but they didn't have his replacement. They thought they were getting Hurley, but Hurley didn't want the job. Which, by the way, the more I think about that's oil and water. I don't know if he'd have worked there, but that's neither here nor there.
Right. Well, but then the AD says, I'm really good friends with Bryce Drew. He's not going to say no to me. And guess what? He said no. I mean, you tell me. I mean, Nate Oates is an excellent coach. Excellent coach. I mean, they better not do worse than Nate Oates. I mean, they got to get a dog here. They got to get a guy who's seen as young enough, good enough. I mean, I don't know if you can do like Todd Golden 3 years ago, where you think he's an up-and-comer. To me, you got to hire a resume, an established resume that's better than Hubert Davis's was. By the way, Hubert Davis won 25 games a year for 5 years, went to the title game once.
By the way, you mentioned the guy that they should already have signed. Don't mean to hit you hard, Florida fan, but Todd Golden should be your hire, not Nate Oates. And I understand he's doing great at Florida, but come on. There's the Florida basketball job. Then there's North Carolina.
I know.
That's the signature in the drawer that I need if I'm a Tar Heel fan. And I'm not messing around, David.
But they fired Hubert Davis because they're not as good as Duke. That's why they fired him. And they didn't think that Hubert Davis was ever going to catch up and be at the consistently excellent level that Duke is at. I mean, what's Duke this year? A 1 seed. What would Hubert Davis's team have been if his best player stayed healthy? A 4. And North Carolina is not taking a backseat to Duke. No. It's 1 and 1A. And right now they're taking a back seat. But I would not have done this. I'm sorry. I would have spent a year talking to agents, lining it up. Remember that Houston, Texas television reporter that said the A&M Jimbo deal was done in October? He said this out loud on the air. He said the contract is signed. It's in a drawer. He said it in mid-October. And that's what I would have done if I was North Carolina. I would have brought Hubert Davis back. They have an excellent recruiting class coming in. Okay. And I would have, if it's not going the way I'd like, then I'd have 3 months, second half of next season, to line up the guy.
And who's the guy? Then I'm being, and the other side of this, I think, now look at Kansas will do this differently because it's a different reason if Bill Self decides to retire. But he's not going to wait around until July to retire, if you know what I mean.
No.
That decision's being made right. And If I'm Kansas, I'm bringing them in and say, Bill, you can do whatever you want to do. What you've done for us, we can never repay you for.
Right.
But you've got to let us know here in the next 10 days where your heart's at, because we've got to be ready to transition and go get the guy at Iowa or whoever it is they're going to get. Now, I don't think that, the Iowa guy may never leave. He's from Iowa City. It's a tremendous story. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. But then they'll go after Nate Oates, or they'll go after Golden, or they'll go after the guy at Iowa State. Yes, absolutely.
And they'll have him before Bill Self announces his retirement. So we think it certainly looks like North Carolina doesn't have the replacement.
And they are breaking up 60 plus years of the Carolina way. And they are very proud of the Carolina way. Miller and Moulton.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
How great is that?
Oh, it's awesome. It's absolutely awesome.
New York Jets. One guy was there nearly 2 decades. One guy's been there for 5 years. I don't think it's a fair comparison.
Also, they didn't get rid of Tomlin, and they were not going to get rid of Tomlin. Tomlin walked away.
And Leftwich, if you want to get rid of him, that's fine. Who are you hiring? Who do you have? You don't look at what Kentucky did. They had to get rid of John Cal. Are they better now than when they had John Cal? The results would say they're not. By the way, one guy, he's still playing. Harbaugh's a perfect example of what? Of why you fire a guy or why you hire a guy. I mean, Jim Harbaugh was a Michigan guy. It's actually the Hubert Davis thing. And Adam, the Krzyzewski era, who did Shire play for? That's continuing the family. You guys arguments I can poke holes in really easy right now. You're making this too easy for me. I'm not that smart. I mean, when I can do this and David doesn't even have to look up an answer, you guys are messing up. No, but again, that's 18 years, Leftwix. He was at Baltimore for what, 18 years? Exactly, Deadstroke. That's exactly what we're saying. North Carolina doesn't look like they have a plan either. Jay Billis would never coach. No interest. Makes a lot of money. Not to mention, he ain't going to North Carolina. It's a Duke guy. If he ever were. I mean, if you ever were to think that that's a possibility. And if John Cale had to go, and if you're right, Deadstroke, and I'm not even saying you're not, they had to have a plan before they got rid of him, and they didn't. No, NC is not happy just making the tourney. But their best player got hurt. You are taking a coach down because his best player got hurt. And Billy Donovan, I don't know, 10 years ago, maybe. Would he come back to college right now in NIL? I don't know. I don't know. Well, if he said it, it's got to be right because he knows everything. It doesn't matter, Javier. Doesn't matter. I get it. I mean, you're a big Gator guy. I understand that. I'm just saying, what job at basketball is better? What's more highly regarded? And again, Leftwix, I don't have a problem with them getting rid of him. Who are they replacing him with? They don't seem to have a plan. You're not getting what we're saying here. You keep arguing that Hubert Davis isn't the guy. Who are you hiring? Who's the guy you can guarantee you're going to get right now? That's all we're saying. That's what I say, Adam. But you better have that done. You better not be just starting now. You should have started a month ago. And if they have him, then you know what? Then good for them. Then they did a good job. Ooh, golden style in the NBA. Interesting. Again, Leftwix, that's the point. You don't search like this if you're North Carolina.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Josh Graham of Westwood 1 will join us in a little more than 15 minutes. Josh has worked extensively throughout the state of North Carolina before going national. We'll get his thoughts on North Carolina appearing to go outside the family for the first time since the early days of the John F. Kennedy administration. So there. Haven't worked the Kennedy administration into the show in a while.
Well done. I know that when you can go back that far, that makes you happy.
Yep, that's 65 years. Dean Smith, first year coaching was the fall of 61.
Wow.
Yep. So going outside the family for the first time in 65 years. All right, back to baseball. First off, and we could ask this as a poll question. I don't care. It's already happened. I think I was a little bothered when the NFL had the Dolphins-Chiefs playoff game only on Peacock. What was that, the 23 season? So, that was 2 years ago. How long ago does that seem, right? But, Mark, what's going to last longer, streaming or the networks? I mean, how can you get mad about baseball being on Netflix? I mean, Seriously, 15 years from now, which do you think is a better chance of existing, NBC or Netflix?
Netflix. I don't think it's close.
So, I'm not upset that it's on Netflix. I'm not. I do wish that you could go streaming service to streaming service the way we go channel to channel. It's not as convenient. It's not as easy. We're spoiled. We are. I admit that. And we're paying for it. So, I'd like a little better service in that regard. They're not there yet. Don't know if they will be.
Don't know if they want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, be really honest with you, David. Last night, I'm on ESPN Plus watching my hockey team play. There was part of me, they were playing so badly, and in between periods, did I want to switch to the Lightning game or see if the Tiger TGL thing was going at all well? And it's in between periods. I'm like, whatever. I'll look up the scores on my phone and I'm fine. I'm not going to switch off of this. I'll just watch the intermission report. So I hear you, because I'm lazy and I didn't feel like switching back and forth. Now, when the college basketball was on, I did on Saturday night. But I hear where you're coming from. And I think we've got enough poll questions, but I know where I see where you're at.
But the baseball season's getting underway. And, how about this? We do this in football all the time. I'm just curious. Tell me a team that missed the playoffs that will make it this year. And I'll make it a little more difficult. You can't say the Mets. The Mets are an easy one. Okay. And I don't know that the Mets will make the playoffs this year, but I'm taking the Mets off the table because they're too easy, too obvious.
Help me and the rest of our audience out. Who made the playoffs last year? I mean, I know we had Toronto. I know we had Seattle. I know we had the Dodgers. I know we had the Yankees and the Tigers. I'm trying to work the Phillies.
I believe you also had the Red Sox. It was Toronto, the Yankees, and the Red Sox, I believe, from the East. Okay, Cleveland and Detroit from the Central, Seattle from the West.
Okay, there you go.
National League, you had Philadelphia only. You had 3 teams from the Central, Milwaukee, Chicago, Cincinnati. You had the Dodgers and the Padres.
And you're taking the Mets off the table.
Yeah, I mean, or fine, put them on the table. But
it's tough to pick Atlanta right now. I'd like to say the Braves, but their pitching staff's a mess.
I know.
I think Texas is an interesting pick that someone put in the chat room because they spent some money. They picked up some players.
Well, and their offense can't be worse than it was last year. It might have been the worst offense in Major League Baseball since the mound was 15 inches high. Honestly, their offense was putrid.
That whole NL West division's interesting. Arizona was pretty good a couple of years ago, and they underachieved last year. San Diego, has that ship sailed? Where are the Giants this year? So I don't think the Rays will get there. I don't think they have I don't like their lineup enough with what they got rid of.
Tell you what, though, Mark, there are a lot of baseball people that think the whole rest of the AL East could make the playoffs. That the 4th place team in the East could be better than the 2nd place team in the Central or the West.
But then you wonder, is Baltimore going to be better than Baltimore disappointed everybody last year after 2 years ago having a really good year.
But remember, the last 4+ months of the season, they were like 7-8 games above 500. If they had played at that pace for the whole season, they would have won like 87 or so games. And you could argue they're a better team this year than the team that finished last year. I mean, I do think Alonso's going to have a monster year. In that ballpark, oh my goodness. I mean, honestly, if he doesn't hit 40, he's had a bad year.
It is a poll question today. Baseball, what is your level of excitement for the baseball season? And David, I think you should be happy. Only 21% of the vote says wake me up July 4. 54% just saying they hope their team starts well. In baseball, we've talked about this for a decade on this show. Baseball has become a great regional sport. It's no longer a national sport. It's a great regional sport. And I'm not joking when I say great. It's the number 1 or number 2 rated program in nearly every market in the country. Miami Marlins don't make the list.
Correct.
But every other one it is, including Tampa. But 25% of you overjoyed. Texters, David. I'm overjoyed about baseball. I'm part of a couple fantasy leagues. Our other poll question, your favorite Florida water creature? Manatee, alligator, dolphin, sea turtle. This person, and then syrup. It's International Waffle Day. Butter, syrup, or fruit. This person just answers all 3. Manatee, butter. Christmas morning, excited for the baseball season.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's 2 of you out there. Christmas morning, excited.
I like it.
I thought you would.
Love it, in fact. Love it. I'm all in because I don't think we're going to have baseball next year. And I really believe that. I do not think we will have baseball next year. And so I'm all in because I think I'm going to go 18 months without seeing a ball or a strike. So I'm going to soak this year up like it's the last year of baseball I'll ever have. I'm all in.
You know, I look at the AL Central. I mean, the Tigers, and you know who's there to get them. I don't think the Twins can do it.
No. I think there's a better chance, Mark, the Twins finish last than finish third.
I agree. You know, the White Sox are going to be better. They're not ready to make the playoffs yet.
Kansas
City. What's that?
Kansas City. If somebody's going to beat Detroit, it's going to be Kansas City. I know Cleveland did it last year. They still don't have enough offense. They keep losing more and more of their pitching. I think the team, if they're going to beat the Tigers, it's Kansas City. They moved the fences in. They got a lot of young players who can hit the ball out of the park. That young lineup comes through, look out.
You know, I read a report that, and I don't know what pitching they have, but that the A's, the Athletics, could possibly score the most runs in baseball this year. I think they were top 10 last year. Now, I don't know if they're good enough to be a wild card team, but they could score a bunch of runs this year. No one will pay any attention.
Nope.
Just something to watch. But
Nope.
they're over under 75.5. That's a team I'm leaning over on.
Okay.
For what it's worth.
We'll make our over-unders tomorrow. Miller and Moulton 6-1 the last 2 years on baseball over-unders.
San Francisco at 80.5 for what it's worth. The Yankees at 90.5. They play tonight on Netflix. Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Very excited. Sparty kicks off the college hockey tournament tomorrow. 1:30 start. Very happy.
Is that on TV anywhere?
Probably ESPNU would be my guess, but I'm not positive. Usually they get the U and the Deuce for their first round games.
Hopefully the NIT doesn't get in the way of that.
Right. Yeah, ESPN2 and ESPNU.
Sorry, my mic was off. Michigan State's on 2. North Dakota's on 2. Wisconsin's on ESPNU. Quinnipiac Providence on ESPN Plus.
Should be able to have the guest ready before you get back on this time.
All righty. I had a coworker who she didn't go to Clarkson. I want to say her dad was an assistant coach there, or worked in the athletic department. She's a big Clarkson fan. Those schools are all fun that have just hockey only, the Cornells, the Clarksons of the world that get into their college hockey because it's their sport. They've kind of lost a little bit with all of the NIL money and some of the Minnesota schools paying what they're paying now. That it's not what it once was, but depends on the school, Left Twix. I mean, Izzo hasn't won one in 20 years. They're not getting rid of Tom. But I mean, if Dusty May doesn't win it this year with this team, are you firing him? Hubert Davis wasn't there that long, and they don't have a replacement. If they get Todd Golden, then let's see. They get Nate Oates. I don't look at that guy's all he does is get in trouble with. I mean, that guy runs a program so fast and loose that ain't gonna fly at North Carolina. It's just not. You got to trust me. I mean, my goodness, didn't he have the one kid give a gun to the guy who shot somebody? And I mean, the guy played, for crying out loud.
I got Josh.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour when Seth Everett will join us. David Laurila, an hour from now. We'll talk baseball with the Yankees and Giants getting the season underway tonight on Netflix. But Josh Graham is kind enough to join us once again. He's an award-winning sports talker throughout the state of North Carolina at a couple different places. He's gone national. You can hear him now on Westwood 1. You can follow him, though, the same place on X at Josh Graham Show. Josh Graham Show. Josh, David, and Mark, thanks for doing this. Good morning. How are you?
Well, it's been a crazy 12 hours. Have we even reached 12 hours? I don't think so. Since Hubert Davis is no longer in a job at North Carolina. So plenty to talk about. Good to be with you guys.
Well, no doubt, Josh. Listen, obviously the first indicators to us were on Monday when the Hubert Davis show was canceled, the radio show. It's like, okay, something's going on. It took a little longer than that for him to lose his job. Let's start just right here. Do you think they made the right choice?
It depends on what exactly in the modern day of college basketball, what your framework, what exactly is most important to you. And the North Carolina, in the past, what was always most important is maintaining connection to its history, its tradition, and having somebody linked to Dean Smith or Dean Smith himself since the 1950s. And for example, when Roy Williams retired, there really wasn't much consideration. Hubert Davis was going to be the replacement. And now that you make this move, there is no Carolina connected person that makes sense to give it to now. So really, for the first time in our lives, this job has really come open for the first time. What people consider to be the best job in all of college basketball is now really open for the first time. And that is fascinating to see what it means. In terms of whether or not they got it right from a basketball perspective, I didn't think it was completely necessary, considering North Carolina was 19-5 with Caleb Wilson in the lineup, the top 5 draft pick. North Carolina, by the way, hasn't had a top 5 NBA draft pick in 21 years, as crazy as that might sound. They beat Duke, they beat Kansas, they beat Kentucky. But from a fundraising perspective, since things went south and there were a lot of expectations and North Carolina has a high standard, they decided now was the right time to move because they didn't like the direction of things from a fundraising perspective, having the funds to compete next season in terms of budget in terms of roster building, but also some of the projects they need to embark on in Chapel Hill, none of which most important than the arena project, where they're either going to renovate or rebuild in terms of moving off of the Smith Center, something that might cost between $400 to $500 million. And that's difficult to do, fundraising, when you don't have a popular basketball coach.
Josh Graham, Westwood 1. Follow him on X, Josh Graham Show, Josh Graham Show. Listen, obviously you're national now, but you've got your pulse on the North Carolina sports scene. Before, when they led VCU by 19, was there any whispering at all, had there been, about North Carolina needing a new coach? Or did this literally come cascading down, beginning with the second half collapse?
This is that's a good question, because it depends on who you ask. And when you ask the people who matter most going into last week, and I've talked to many people from over there, they would all say, no, Hubert isn't in danger because, again, he righted the ship after Caleb Wilson got hurt. He beat Louisville. He beat Clemson, had a winning record. But if you ask the fans, like if you talk to, they all felt that Hubert was on the hot seat because Hubert wasn't incredibly popular at this time a year ago. So things could turn very quickly. And when college sports when revenue is such of chief importance in college sports and your ability to fundraise, the optics of that VCU loss were so poisonous. You blow a record 19-point lead in the first round of an NCAA tournament game. We've never seen a larger blown lead than that. And then afterwards, you have a chance to explain yourself. And Hubert Davis has one of the worst press conference performances you will ever see after a game. That's what sends people over the top, sends people to go nuclear, and then makes the people uneasy who are the decision makers who, as mentioned, have a lot of important projects to embark on. And it's not a good time to be an unpopular basketball coach as they approach trying to get those projects off the ground.
Okay. It seems very obvious to us, and by your answers, I think to you as well. With the way this happened, it's not like there was a contract in a drawer for a replacement. Now,
No.
we think Kentucky made, a horrendous mistake, not necessarily getting rid of John Cal, but not having his replacement when they did so. Is North Carolina making that same mistake? I understand, and you explained very well the reasons why, but who is it that they have to get to make this right?
I don't know if North Carolina doesn't know who their next coach is, because you mentioned the coaches show cancellation on Monday. I think North Carolina has known what the decision's been since Saturday night, Saturday afternoon, maybe, and thus they're probably further along on that than any of us know. We'll see how quickly that turns out. But the part that makes this tricky, you venture to say that a lot of the candidates they are considering are still coaching their teams second weekend of the NCAA tournament. But worth noting, maybe this was a huge gift to North Carolina. Iowa's upset of, yes, the team not far from where you're at, the Florida Gators. Because if you're looking for the type of coach that would justify making a move as dramatic as moving off of Hubert Davis and ending that lineage that I just described, it would be a national championship winning coach who's 40 years old and prying a coach away from the SEC, from an SEC school where football always comes first, trying to lure him to a place where basketball always will come first. It would be that type of hire that North Carolina's trying to make. Will they be able to do it? I have my doubts. But at a baseline, I think the worst case scenario is Vanderbilt coach Mark Byington. I think what's most likely is probably TJ Otzelberger from Iowa State, especially considering he has just a $4 million buyout, but he's still coaching right now. And then look at Tommy Lloyd at Arizona. The part that makes this most interesting and why it's really important, even though it's far away from Florida and it's not in the NCAA tournament right now, and some of your listeners might be thinking, well, why are we talking about the actual NCAA tournament games that are going to be happening tomorrow? This changes the whole picture, where half the coaches that are competing in the NCAA tournament, their coaches now are going to be connected to this job. They're going to be asked about this job. There's going to be the potential for Roy Williams, Bonnie Bernstein-like in exchanges, perhaps,
Right.
in tournament games. If you don't remember that, you can find that one on YouTube from 2003. That's now what this becomes. North Carolina has now just affected this NCAA tournament with this decision.
Just to make sure, because there are some prominent national people that have said in the last 48 hours that this job is not what it used to be.
No.
That's wrong, right? This is still one of the 3
No.
best jobs in the country, right?
We'll see. We've never seen it become available, but I got a call from an ACC basketball coach who told me earlier this week that he could maybe think of 10 names the entire country that would turn this job down. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. But to the point that those folks are making, we didn't think that Kentucky would be turned down the way that they were a few years ago. We didn't think Indiana would be turned down the way they were. They couldn't get Dusty May to come home. And Dusty May went to Indiana, and they couldn't get Kentucky couldn't get Nate Oates or Dan Hurley a few years back. So it'll be interesting to see what names they go for. Don't be surprised if you see in the news that Hubert Davis or that North Carolina pursues Brad Stevens, tries to see if they can land him for the Boston Celtics. Like they're gonna be some big names that are thrown out there, and we'll see what they're able to get in the boat. But my guess is, the worst case, it's going to be Mark Byington, Vanderbilt. Best case, it's absolute best case, it's Brad Stevens from the Celtics, but that's not super likely. You're likely defaulting on somebody such as TJ Otzelberger, or in a better case, yes, from Florida, Todd Golden.
We talked about this, I guess, a week and a half ago, about the new facility or the Dean Smith Center being renovated. You know, there's a lot of talk of moving it, 3-4 miles off campus, and everybody hates that. There's a building that was just taken down at North Carolina that seems to be on campus in a right spot. Mm-hmm. Are they going to get this done on campus and keep everybody happy?
I don't think so. I think that this move is so much to do with trying to get the project of moving this arena off campus. I truthfully believe that, because let's just think about this from a granular level. Let's try to view this from the perspective of the decision makers here. If you wanted to make that sell, how could you start to get people into your boat? Get people, you see an opportunity here. People are upset. Oh, we lost VCU. This is unacceptable. We need change. And you're Lee Roberts, you're the chancellor. You say, you're right. We're going to make changes. We're going to do that, and we're going to fire Hubert Davis, and then we're going to bring in a big name, just like one of the names that I mentioned here. And it's going to be expensive. Yeah, that's what we do. We're North Carolina basketball. And then the next thing they say is, well, in order to make moves like that, we need a place that allows us more revenue to be built, more than what we could build at the Smith Center. And since we just did this thing for you guys, because that's what's best for Carolina basketball, now we need to do this as well. Don't be surprised if that's what happens later this year. And this coach, before next season starts and we're able to see any of the results, before they even have a chance to fail, if he helps the administration be successful in getting the relocation project off the ground.
Boy, they're just trying really hard to make sure Roy Williams never comes to another game, aren't they?
Oh, he'll be fine. Roy's going to be there. He'll be there with Wicked Wanda, as he calls her, and he'll be there in his sweater. He'll be okay. He got Hubert. He got the guy. He got the coach that he wanted, and he is going to love North Carolina basketball no matter what.
He's Josh Graham. He's gone national at Westwood 1. Follow him on X, Josh Graham Show, Josh Graham Show. Josh, congratulations, by the way, on your new gig. Well earned. And thanks for making time for us once again, and all the best to you and the family.
Of course. Appreciate you guys.
Josh Graham, kind enough to join us once again here on Miller and Moulton. Josh and all our guests joining us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
As dialed in as anybody is on North Carolina. For the record, he went through 5 different coaches. Never said Nate Oates' name. I don't think Nate Oates, I think it's oil and water with North Carolina. David, I could be wrong. I think it's oil and water. I don't think that's the type of guy they want to hire.
Just wonder how many no's they have to get before they decide that maybe they can stomach Nate Oates.
I understand, but I don't think they'll get that many no's.
Take a look at his
Kentucky's
record.
fan base is different than North Carolina's fan base.
I understand, but take a look at his record at Alabama. At Alabama.
David, I can't argue with his record, but the key word is record. I don't mean wins and losses. I mean police record. At Kentucky, they don't give a damn. They were putting money on buses in the 80s, man. They didn't care back then. North Carolina, yeah, I'm sure they did a few things that weren't right, but they're just a little more quiet about it. And they'll never admit that they did any of it. Seth Everett next.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Some rings are beautiful. The Koi rings are unforgettable. April 17th through the 19th, Koi brings their entire collection to the Diamond District. Extraordinary engagement, breathtaking wedding bands, and Koi's newest fine jewelry for spring. Here for one unforgettable weekend, the Legend of Koi, April 17th through the 19th at the Diamond District. Hablamos Español.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
PBA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you can be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Morning.
Good morning. Are you a home row guy or are you a hunter and pecker? I heard you typing there.
Oh, no, I can type. I was copying and pasting, so that's why you heard that.
That's fine. I don't care. I just was just a random question.
No, I know. No,
I can home row it, okay, because I took a typing class also, but I'm a hunter and a pecker.
Oh, no, but I have to, I'm copying assignments and putting due dates, so they go on my phone. I have iHeart today. Boo.
Well, hopefully not much longer.
I heard your guy if you guys want to do this college basketball nonsense, like the Sweet 16, all these teams have a certain level of NIL. Either you hit the NIL number or you don't. What's the difference who the coach is?
Well,
I'll say that about Jerry McNamara too. Doesn't matter. If you don't spend,
I think when you get to
win.
this point, it will, Seth. I mean, I do think you have to have, I mean, you look at the coaches that are, you have to have the NIL first. I agree with you 100%. But I will say, out of the 16 teams left, these are all really good coaches. I mean, really good coaches.
I also saw, and I don't have the stat in front of me, but that of the 22 teams that are MLB produced, without a cable deal, 10 of them do not have cable distribution. So what that means is, even though it's like Mariners.com or MLB Media, the charter cables and the Comcast and those cable companies don't have deals for 10 of the teams. 10 of the teams, the fan bases are like scrambling to find the games.
Supposedly they're announcing tomorrow where you can get the Rays games.
Oh, so the Rays are one of them.
The deal was still being worked on.
That's crazy.
It is. But unfortunately, I mean, these regional channels did not give them a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like I saw yesterday, and I don't know how I got it. Someone reposted it. And I must have seen it that way. But there's apparently like a live golf show in the state of Michigan that's on the FanDuel network. And somehow they found out FanDuel shuttering mid-April. So they're like, basically they're acting like we're done. But I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess, hockey's over by then.
Yep.
The Tigers are doing a new baseball thing. I don't know if that's right in conjunction with the end of the Pistons regular season, but I'm like, okay.
Yeah, for the Tigers deal includes the Red Wings. And if you go to Tigers.com,
same owner.
See the Red Wing, it's the same guy.
Yeah, same owner. It's the Illich family. Yeah.
I don't get it.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
We are halfway home, at least in Jacksonville and Tampa St. Pete. It's the final hour of the show in Southwest Florida. Live Oak, Lake City and surrounding areas, Port Charlotte, Venice and surrounding areas, Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Just a plethora of poll questions today. How about that? You worked overjoyed into one of our poll answers. I worked plethora into describing our poll questions today, because what do we have? 3 of them?
We have 3. We have the Florida water species, because it's a Manatee Appreciation Day. What's your favorite Florida water creature? Right now, the dolphin, beating out the sea turtle, the alligator, and the manatee. It's international.
What about Aquaman? What about Aquaman?
He's not only in Florida. That you don't really think just Florida with Aquaman. I think you think worldwide.
Okay.
I mean, Indian Ocean, Atlantic Ocean. It doesn't really matter to Aquaman, does it?
Didn't mean to interrupt.
No problem. I appreciate the question.
Actually,
International Waffle Day.
You did mean to interrupt.
Yes, I did.
I know he did, but I let it. But it was 100%. Irrelevant. At least he went Aquaman. If he'd have gone any other superhero, would have made no sense.
All right, so that's one.
International Waffle Day. What do you put on your waffle? Butter, syrup, fruit, or I don't do waffles. Syrup, an overwhelming winner. And your level of excitement for the baseball season. Overjoyed. Hope my team starts well. Or wake me up July 4. And Seth would not even answer that question because he's done with baseball. So I'm not even going to let him interrupt on that one. But we now bring Seth Everett onto the show, gigantic Tampa Bay Lightning fan, or at least his daughter's about to be.
No.
I did see a great, and I don't know how. I think it's just that I've been in Tampa now for a couple of months, Seth, and somehow, because
Your
I'm obviously I'm
algorithm.
56, why I'm getting TikTok videos about the University of Tampa
Oh, yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
beyond me. But I see them, and it was one of them I watched was, the top things to do as a University of Tampa student. And literally the third thing on there was go to Lightning games. And I laughed and laughed and laughed. I cannot wait for your daughter to start rooting for a winner.
I remember when we went for the tour of the campus, they talked about sports and they said how you can go a short drive away to see Tampa Bay Lightning and Tampa Bay Bucks games. And then they moved on to like the Symphony. And I went, wait, don't the Rays play here too?
Not in Tampa, they don't.
Not yet.
I
Not
guess
yet.
right.
3 more years they'll be part of the tour, hopefully.
I guess
By
that
the
was
time she's a
semantics.
senior,
Not
she can
yet.
take in a game.
Hey, you were on hold, so to speak, and so I know you heard our last segment. I'm just curious.
Yeah, he's good.
Your alma mater, who you are very fond of, Syracuse, they obviously just went through, a big coaching thing, and they end up settling for their second choice, but he's a Syracuse guy, Jerry McNamara. There's even rumors that Carmelo's going to become the GM of the program.
That's
all right.
Some goofball started that.
Okay, well, but I do think that Carmelo will be more actively involved financially and otherwise. I'm just curious, like, as an alum, how does this rest with you? Are you more likely when they solicit you for money?
Which they did yesterday.
Okay, I'm just curious. First off, how much did they ask for? And secondly, how likely are you to give them even $50?
There's no chance. There's no interest whatsoever. Because the $50 from the 12 of my classmates is not going to impact one iota. And if anything, we were going to donate money to the broadcast division, not the NIL or the athletic program at all. I gave money to Syracuse yesterday, but I didn't give it to the athletic program. And the athletic program is such that it is sheer numbers. And I saw the story, I want to say it was Forbes or Sportico or one of those, about the top 16 teams in the NCAA tournament and how much they are spending on basketball. And Syracuse spends about half of that. And unless you want to spend between $7.5 and $10 million, I don't care if Mickey Mouse is your coach. I don't care what they do as the coach. It's not going to make a difference. And that's what college sports has become. And to me, listening to the North Carolina guy, North Carolina is going to commit that kind of money. So, yeah, I guess it matters who the coach is, because when you get to the elite have to have something else besides just the money. But when you're Syracuse, all you're saying is, do we have the money? And if the answer is yes, great. Look, I'm going to watch the games either way. But that's loyalty. That's not any excitement. Jerry McNamara, I like Jerry McNamara. You know what I like? I like having the coach of Syracuse basketball's phone number. And I'm going to get him on Sports with Friends this summer.
All right, Seth, and I'm being serious here.
Yeah.
I'm being serious here. The broadcast department at Syracuse doesn't need your money. The athletic department does. I mean, the broadcast department's fine. Trust me, anybody that watches any network is well aware of every Syracuse broadcaster on the planet. Do you know why? It is like people who do CrossFit. They can't tell you fast enough that they went to Syracuse. The broadcast department is fine. The athletic department isn't. And Indiana is the perfect example of a school that used their alumni base to, the Cubans and others put in big money. But if it wasn't for the people putting $100 a man in, Indiana's not where they're at right now. And I think you're missing the point here, Seth. I know how much you love Syracuse, but the broadcast department doesn't need any damn money.
Okay.
How
Like I said,
How much did they ask you for?
no, it's open ended. You check a
Oh,
box.
no. I didn't know if they offered suggestions. You know, sometimes
you could
you
do
give that-
thousands if you want.
well, obviously, Seth, but sometimes
I mean, they
make
like the number
suggestions.
44. I did the number 44. If you need to know,
Okay.
44. Yeah, that was cute. 44.
Yeah, it's got connection to the football program, but going back to the day. Yeah, okay,
John Wallace also. Yeah,
true.
Yeah,
true.
Derek Coleman.
I was going to say, don't forget DC.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, okay, but still not worth $50, huh?
No.
Okay, interesting.
44. Go Orange.
Gotcha. All right. Baseball season starts technically tonight on Netflix. Giants and Yankees. Michael K will be complaining about this right on through the weekend. But we have an interesting thing going on tomorrow and Friday because of all these teams that are having their games produced by Major League Baseball and how many of them actually are on quote unquote television as opposed to on some streaming or .tv. I mean, I believe, Seth, the Rays are announcing tomorrow all the places that you can get Rays baseball. And it's because, quite frankly, they need the time to finalize certain deals. I mean, this is crazy, isn't it?
It's the end times. I mean, it's wild. Supposedly 10 teams, I heard this on a podcast, 10 teams do not have a cable distribution deal. Now, for your listeners, what that means is they're producing the games in-house. So it's no longer going to be on, Fox Sports Florida or any of these cable networks. But the agreement between Tigers.tv or Rays.tv or whatever they're calling it is that they were going to put it on Charter Cable and all the different cable companies so that all you have to do is have cable and turn on your remote and find the game. And the only inconvenience for the fan was supposed to be a different channel number from the FanDuel network to whatever this new thing is. That's the only thing that you're supposed to do. The idea that you haven't told the fan base how to watch their games 24 hours before the season starts just shows that you're not ready, because there is nothing about these cable deals that couldn't have been negotiated a month ago. They've known this was happening. 22 of 30 teams do not have traditional RSN cable networks. There's only 8. And of the 22, 10 of them don't have any distribution deals outside of get your phone and get your Apple TV and get your thing and start paying your $29.99. And for those 22 teams, by the way, if 11 of them are lousy, how many people are going to have the wherewithal to drop the $29.99 and not have this? And that's going to be even less revenue for these teams.
And, the only person that benefits is for someone like me or David, we're way out of market. If we want to watch the Mets or the Tigers, we're fine. But that's not where your fan base is. Nope. And they don't even have over-the-air deals. A lot of hockey teams switched to this, Seth.
Yeah.
And they did over-the-air deals, and they're on free TV. And at least there was a plan. I'm not saying it was the best plan, Seth, but at least there was a plan. Baseball from a TV standpoint is rudderless right now, aren't they?
And the thing about, I live in the Northeast and I listen to, New York. I listen to some New York, I listen to WFAN podcasts, and they're literally, they don't even know this because the Mets, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Phillies, they all have cable deals. So it is isolationist. And the only idea of this happening, I mean, I don't think that's to say that 22 out of 30 teams don't have RSN contracts going into this season. That's an egregious number. If it was 5, you guys could say to me, why is he bringing this up? If it's 5, it's 22. That's insanity.
Also makes you realize just how complicated getting a labor deal is going to be. I mean, honestly, I know you guys laugh at us when we say there's not going to be baseball next year. There's not going to be baseball for a good chunk of next year because they ain't close on major issues. Seth,
But you agree this is owner versus owner.
total. Well, Mark's been pointing that out
Yeah.
for a year and a half. He's been
know.
saying the owners got to settle their differences before they even go to the players, who then
Right, the
instantly
players
say
that sit there
no.
with the popcorn. Yeah.
Right. Less than 30 seconds. Sports with Friends Hall of Justice. Go.
Hall of Justice. 3 composers who have done all the superhero music for the last 25 years. These musicians. And because we're on Spotify and can't play any of the songs, they're going to sing them.
That's fantastic.
That's fantastic.
That's what
But yeah,
makes
no,
you
these
you.
3 guys are called Dynamic Music Partners, and they've done all the Warner Brothers animation for like the last 25 years, and they're going to be on Hall of Justice tomorrow.
Seth Everett, Sports with Friends, Hall of Justice. Follow him on X at Seth_Everett. Seth, enjoy Yankees Giants tonight on Netflix.
I'll be watching.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. 6100 Shirley in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I have a new music enemy number one. And he's a has-been. But he's an idiot. He's always been an idiot. And I like that Eminem made fun of him years ago, and I wish he'd write another song making fun of him. But Moby's a dope. A dope.
Who?
Came out
Moby,
and
huh?
said the one song he can't listen to because it's gross, and I forgot the other word he used, is Lola by the Kinks, because it's knocking trans people. When many people in that community say it was the first song ever to identify something differently in a song. And if you listen to the words, there is no bashing. Boys will be
I
girls.
agree with that.
Girls will be boys. It's a mixed up world, or whatever the line is. The shook up world. Come on. You're a dope.
I've never liked Moby as a person, but that I still love that one album of his, that Play album, but
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah. Adam,
He
only
does
if
seem like
you
a real-
sign him.
What's that?
Just a comment in the chat room here. Adam is the only person that likes Minshew more than me. But stop it. ECU, Washington State may bring him back. Minshew loved, my son's roommate was a walk-on at ECU. And Minshew is a redneck. And there is a very, I can't think of his name, but that hick hop, and he's a little bit racist. And Minshew with, obviously the room being as diverse as a locker room is, put this very hick hop, fairly racist guy on, and Jake's roommate knew who it was, and Minshew loved him because he was the only guy that had a clue who the song was. And Jake's roommate's a kid from Appalachia country. Good kid. But Minshew was a senior, and this kid was a walk-on freshman, and Minshew loved Jake's roommate.
Oh, so you have good reason to be a fan of Minshew, huh?
I've always liked Minshew. He makes me smile. Absolutely, Adam. Absolutely. There's no doubt. Don't know if he still spends the off seasons in Southwest Florida in his RV or not.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. David Laurila in a little more than 15 minutes time to talk a little baseball. Yankees and Giants tonight on Netflix at 8 o'clock. Matt Veskursen, CC Sabathia, and Hunter Pence. So a national baseball guy, along with a soon-to-be Hall of Famer, best known as a Yankee. And Hunter Pence played for a few teams, but best known as a Giant. And so that's the broadcast for tonight on Netflix. Supposedly, we're not going to have the K-Zone, Mark, anymore. That because of the whole pitching challenge system, that they're getting rid of the box. So we've all kind of gotten used to that.
Stinks. That kind of stinks. I don't like that, but I get the reason why. It makes sense. I mean, certainly would make a challenge a hell of a lot easier for the benches to watch it and go, oh, miss the box by 6 inches. We need to challenge it. I get it.
Yep. Curious, your signal's kind of going in and out, and I know there's nothing you could do about it, but it looks like it's back now, so that's good. Ratings continue to pour in for the tournament. Either highest rated one of all time, highest rated one since 93. I mean, pick the stat that you want to hang your hat on. But anyway, March Madness is doing really well.
And to me, David, the biggest takeaway I have from it is we, and I don't mean Miller and Moulton, I mean we, the sports fan, still likes basketball. In fact, still likes basketball a lot. But we don't like the NBA regular season at all.
Now,
And we like college hoop even more so than we like the NBA playoffs. And it's not close.
There is an interesting debate going on right now, Mark, on X, because Clay Travis, pretty prominent media member, and he's been bashing the NBA for a while. He started bashing it because of woke politics and LeBron. Now he's gotten into the product a little bit. And so he's been saying, the NBA ratings, everybody else's ratings are up, not the NBA. Well, some people who cover the NBA are kind of like, Clay, this is the most watched NBA regular season in 7 years. Ratings are up 13% from last year. What are you talking about? Now, I have to admit, I don't know who to believe here. They're both supposedly, Clay's quoting All-Star Game, finals, and clearly he's got the facts right when talking about the ratings of those big events now versus what they were even recently, never mind a few years ago. But Austin Karp coming out and saying, Clay, okay, you hate the NBA, but it's actually having a really good year. That's the first person I've heard to say that. I mean, Mark, why would it take Austin Karp? Isn't this where an Adam Silver? Isn't this where, I don't know, somebody with NBC or ESPN should have been coming out in the last 2 months and sticking their chest out and basically saying, I don't know what you guys are talking about, because it's not just Clay Travis who's bashing NBA ratings. I mean, everybody's bashing NBA ratings. So I'm kind of curious.
Think it's Silver's job, but I get what you're saying. If I'm Silver, I'm calling some of my media people going, can you at least answer this? Here are our numbers. I don't think it's the commissioner's job to take on a media member who hates your league. I don't think that's a good look.
No.
Shams or whomever, whomever you have in your pocket from, like you said, from ESPN, now NBC's in the basketball business, I would be leaning on them.
Well, I agree. Adam Silver shouldn't be answering Clay Travis, but I do think Adam Silver could find a forum to just make his ratings point if, in fact, he has a good point to make. So now I'm curious. We have conflicting NBA ratings talk out there. What's not conflicting, though, Mark, is the tournament is doing really well. And look at who we have lined up in the Sweet 16. I mean, you could tell we don't have a commissioner of college sports and that these dates and locations and everything was set in advance, because you clearly would break the DC region up and have one game on Friday and one game on Thursday.
Oh, there's no doubt. And obviously, when you look at Michigan on the other side, that's a pretty damn big brand. That's a pretty big alumni base coast to coast. We think of Michigan more for football than for hoop, but come on, this is a brand.
Oh yeah.
And they're on Friday. The Friday night slate's phenomenal.
Oh, incredible. Highest rated game Sunday was the Gator game. I don't think that would surprise anybody, right? What was it, like between 5:15 and 7:30, and it was very compelling.
Right. And the number one seed lost, right? Goes right to the end.
Exactly. Right. Highest rated game, though, of the tournament so far might be Duke Siena, just for an individual game. Not a window or what have you, just a game. The Duke Siena game with, 6 minutes to go, Siena's got the lead. They could have just Put a couple, found a couple more buckets. Oh my goodness.
No.
But-
It actually did exactly what it's supposed to do. We
Yep.
hate Duke, or we like Duke, but we all have an opinion on Duke. And the last thing you want is the one team that everybody has a strong opinion on out of the tournament in the first round. It's the worst thing that could have happened to the tournament. They want Duke in the Final Four every damn year. Duke's ratings gold. It is.
Yeah, they sure are. They sure are. In fact, CBS and Turner, they want Duke to beat St. John's.
Damn right they do.
St. John's is just a New York story. It's number one market in the world, but it's just a New York story. Duke's
And I don't know
national.
if they care who they. I don't know who they care who they play in the region final. They want them to win because UConn gets a big following. Izzo gets a big following. So either way, you know, Michigan State games have rated well this year. When they played Michigan on Fox, it was a monster. So either way, with you know, Duke against Michigan State, Duke against UConn, it's a win for the tournament.
Yeah, because UConn's much more national than they think. Yeah, St. John's is New York, UConn is national. I mean, they've won too many titles over too many years to not be a national brand anymore.
What's interesting is I guess you'd want I mean, do you want Arizona or do you want Arkansas, David? John Cal's national.
Mhm.
Arizona's, one of the only team left out west. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're wanting Arizona. I think. But it's close because the other thing is like highest rated game. Arkansas against High Point was the second highest rated game of its day. Now, it was also a really good game. It was tied at 83 with 2.5 minutes to go. Okay. But, just to show you, John Calipari, even though Arkansas has a tremendous basketball history, Sidney Moncrief, even in the late 70s. Yes. Nolan Richardson in the 90s. We know. But come on, you're watching Arkansas now because,
John Cal.
Mm-hmm.
And High Point was the only Cinderella in the tournament. And I would argue that the tournament got what they wanted, the Cinderella playing the big boy down to the end and the big boy winning. But they certainly want Michigan coming out of the one bracket for sure.
Sure.
Michigan or Iowa State, are you kidding me? They want
Right.
Michigan.
No, and then they want the Iowa State coach to get the North Carolina job. I just say that out loud. David Laurila, baseball.
Your roof
next.
is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeister's at Floormeister.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Let's see if this works. I'm going to my MiFi, David.
All right.
David, are you there?
I am. Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry, just when I'm setting up a new thing, I just got to make sure.
No, I know. I said okay, but I guess I said it too quietly. My bad. And Adam, I got to be honest, you and Minshew, I mean, seriously, it's ridiculous.
All right. This seems worse to me, David. Am I glitchy?
No, not at all.
All right. Let's hope this works.
You look good now, Mark, but do you want to send me like a spot order for next break just in case?
Yeah, I will, Raj. Thank you. There's a new Diamond District spot you don't even have, though.
Okay, well, hopefully I won't need it.
I'll get through it. I think we'll be fine.
You seem good now, yeah. If something terrible happens, I'll just, play spots that I know are good.
Yep.
Did you get a hold of this guy on the phone?
Thanks for the reminder.
You just gave up. First off, I was stunned that John didn't join in my Scranton talk, but 11 at the half, David. 11.
I know. It's disgusting.
18 to 11. I've seen 8th grade games score more points in a half than they scored in that thing.
I've seen great school games. Yeah. Hideous.
Give me a second on the phone. I'll let you know.
33-0, number one team in the country.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the Diamond District bonus hour here on Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. You know, we didn't bring it up. It was expected. Levante David called it a career yesterday. Certainly a Ring of Honor guy. I think he'll get serious consideration for the Hall. I don't think he gets in. For what that's worth.
I'm with you. I think that you're onto something there. And I think I'm glitching on you a little bit too, David. So
nope, you're not at all. It might be on your end, but it's not on ours. But
Got the guest.
But Levante David, stellar career, all with the Bucks. Clearly, the Bucks knew his intentions because they signed a couple inside linebackers in recent days. But Levante David calling it a career, and now it's brand new leadership for the Bucks because Evans and David were clearly the leaders of that team, and now they are both elsewhere. David Laurila is kind enough to join us once again. He covers baseball, fangraphs.com. Follow him on X, David Laurila, Laurilaqa. David Laurila, QA. David, it's David and Mark. Good morning. Happy baseball season. How are you?
Morning, gentlemen. I'm maybe a little under the weather today, but in a more global sense, you're right. It is baseball season, so nothing to complain about.
all right. What is it that has you most excited? I mean, just kind of a generic question. There are a lot of things that I'm pretty happy about. A lot of teams are, keeping some guys up on the roster that usually get sent down. But what is it that has you most excited about this baseball season?
Boy, that's a good question. I'm excited about the fact that we're going to have a baseball season because this time next year we're probably talking about not having a baseball season. Boy, what has me excited? Maybe that's a good question. You know what? The Rookie of the Year voting come the end of the season in both leagues should be fascinating because the young talent that is rookie eligible this year is really, really good. It like runs 5 or 6 deep in both leagues. With Connor Griffin, of course, is not on the opening day roster in Pittsburgh, not surprisingly because that's Pittsburgh. But McGonigal is in Detroit, so I think the young talent coming in is what really has me juiced up.
By the way, are the Pirates legit playoff contenders? They've spent a little bit of money. They brought in 3 new guys. They brought in some bats. As you mentioned, they have the number 1 prospect in baseball who's probably going to be up by Memorial Day. I'm just curious, do you think the Pirates are a sneaky playoff contender?
I'd like to say yes, but I can't really say yes. They're a little bit like Oakland, is that they're kind of sneaking up in talent. I don't think they're there, guys. I love the pitching. Skeens, Bubba Chandler is one of the Rookie of the Year candidates in the NL. Ashcraft, Keller, they've got pitching, but do they have enough hitting? This isn't 1968 anymore. You're not going to win 1-0 and 2-1 games on a consistent basis. So, sorry, Pirates fans, but I think you're maybe a 500 team this year, but no better.
Okay. We're hockey guys. And the Olympics happened. Typically, it hadn't been a boost for ratings. This year, it's been a really big boost for television ratings coming off of the U.S. Olympic win. So the baseball, the World Baseball Classic was fantastic. The television numbers were outrageous. Do you think the World Baseball Classic is going to give the sport a bump at least initially, to get people a little more excited about baseball than maybe they were a year ago?
Well, maybe a little bit of a bump. In the news cycles that we live in today's world, are pretty short. The attention spans are pretty brief. So I think people are going to forget about the World Baseball Classic, by the middle of April. So, it doesn't hurt. You're drawing attention to a lot of great talent. But, yeah, I'm not maybe I'm a Debbie Downer today with the cold I'm battling. But I don't know that it's going to have a huge impact.
A year ago at this time, the Jays were coming off a 74-win season. Is there a team that had a losing season last year that intrigues the heck out of you this year?
That's a good question. I would have to look at team records from last year to see who was a little bit below. Maybe I can circle back to you on that before we're done with this conversation. Actually, did the Texas Rangers finish below 500?
They did. I believe at the end, they struggled late and finished a couple games below, I believe.
Yeah, that might be the team then, because of, assuming the pitching stays healthy, the DeGroms, who's not healthy a lot. They've got Evaldi, they have Mackenzie Gore now. Wyatt Langford, I think I wouldn't call him an MVP candidate this year, but maybe I would. He's one of those young players who looks like he's ready to step up and do some really big things.
By the way, Texas finished at 500. So I would give you that one. They finished 81 and 81.
All right.
So yeah. So I failed that quiz, guys.
That's all right. The Marlins overachieved last year. The Rays underachieved. Which of those teams, come the All-Star break, is still in a playoff race, if you know what I mean? Even if it's a wild card, do you think either have a shot, and which one has the better shot?
I think that maybe the Rays probably have a better shot. I think that if I were thinking next year and the year after, the rosters and structure I would rather have, I would probably take the Marlins because I like what they're building. But for now, I don't think they have enough. With Shane McClanahan, I know is coming back. I talked to a Rays person when I was down in Tampa for spring training, and he said that he looks really good. So, I know Pepio's a little banged up, but, they have pitching. I know that Nick Martinez is new to the staff, and he got absolutely raked, or rocked this spring. Does that mean anything? It's spring training, so maybe not, but yeah. And right, Junior Caminero, right? Last year, right. Cal Raleigh was the player who suddenly became, wow, who is this guy? He went from good to great. One could maybe argue that Caminero already was great because I believe he had over 40 home runs this year, but he could be this year's Cal Raleigh, where he is battling Judge and Witt for the MVP because he might hit 50 plus.
David Laurila, fangraphs.com. All right. Follow him on X, David Laurila, Laurilaqa. David Laurila, QA. Just curious, you guys deal with analytics and numbers. Okay. Did you see something here in the last couple of days in which you went, I didn't realize that?
You're asking if I have seen anything?
Yeah. Just the last few days. I mean, the numbers get crunched right before the start of the season. And just curious if you saw something recently in which you went, I didn't realize that.
Maybe, boy. But you guys are challenging this morning.
Sorry.
Challenging my brain. I think Paul Skeens' projections are predictably good, but not otherworldly good. So maybe I was mildly surprised that projection systems are, they're great, but they're they're very good, but they're not great.
All right.
You
the
know, but as
Braves,
far as like,
last
you know,
year had all those injuries. Go ahead, David. I'm sorry.
No, I believe he's talking.
No, go ahead. Yeah, I was just going to say that
Okay,
I know that over, you know, that projection systems always seems to have the best teams winning fewer games than expected. So, you know, maybe that surprises me, but it's maybe not even team specific, because I see a lot of predictions of 85, 86 wins for teams that, in my opinion, are probably going to win 92 or 93. You know, the Red Sox being one of them.
Well, it's funny. The Braves are at like 86.5, at least on the app I use. With all their pitching injuries starting this season, can the Braves be? I mean, we know their talent's there, but are the injuries, particularly in the pitching staff, are they going to be able to get to Memorial Day without being in a world of trouble?
Yeah, you know, that's really hard to say. I'm a huge Spencer Strider fan, so seeing that he is on the shelf to start the season is concerning. I know Schwellenbach is coming back. I don't know if he had TJ or an internal brace last year, but he should be back mid-season. So yeah, I mean, the Braves, when they're healthy, are good, but they're an enigmatic team. You know, that's a division actually that I really don't know who I would pick between them, the Phillies, and the Mets, because those teams all tend to be volatile. The Phillies may be a little bit less, I don't know, volatile, but this might be a year where they slide down a little bit.
Well, the Phillies starting pitching looks a lot more vulnerable now than it has for like the last 4 or 5 years. Obviously, Wheeler's coming back from a major injury that most people don't come back from, and Nola's throwing batting practice. So, I mean, that could be it'd be interesting to see how the Phillies starting pitching, which has been the backbone of the team the last few years, how it handles this year. David, thanks for making time for us. We hope you feel better, and happy opening day, sort of.
Sure. You're not asking me for any World Series predictions, guys?
Well, if you want to offer it up, but I mean,
if you're taking somebody other than the Dodgers, let it rip.
Yeah, really.
Maybe this is the year where Seattle gets both the NFL Super Bowl championship and a World Series championship.
I like it.
Well, I don't think I'll be the only person making that prediction, at least to win the American League. But yeah, I would say that, and maybe the Detroit Tigers and Chicago Cubs are going to be a sneaky, great World Series matchup this year too.
Wow, that would do great in the ratings too. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Be well.
Okay,
get better.
Thanks, guys.
David Laurila, fangraphs.com. Follow him on X, David Laurila QA, David Laurila QA. Could you be okay with a little Tigers Cubs World Series? That work for you?
Oh, that's my dream World Series every year, David. It really is. The Cubs have only heard a million times. When cable finally, it was 6, 7 days in there when we finally got cable out of the sticks where I lived. Running home to watch Harry Carey and the Cubs was a big part of my childhood. I loved those. I talked about it. The Sandberg, Andre Dawson, Leon Durham at first base. I mean, I loved those Cubs teams and loved listening to Harry Carey do the game. So I was so excited because I knew that my father had gotten tickets to the World Series in '84. And I really thought I was going to get to watch the Tigers and Cubs, but it didn't happen. So yeah, I would have loved it, and I'd love it this year.
Yeah, I think a lot of people there for about 4 or 5 days thought you were going to get a Tigers Cubs World Series. So we're still waiting. So why not? And goodness knows, man, that would do big numbers. That would do big numbers. I'm just curious though, would Skubal come out for a 7th inning? In a key spot in that World Series. I mean, after all, he's about to become a free agent. I mean, if he's 99 pitches through 6, Mark, in Game 5, series tied at 2, does he come out for a 7th or not?
Well, I'm going to go with yes, only because, David, it would lead to a bigger contract for him. If he was pitching for his country, he definitely would take the day off.
I like the fact that I thought I was really snarky and you went snarky-er.
Damn right. I'm pissed at him. That bothered me. That bothered me more than it even bothered you, and you were ticked off.
Yeah, I was. But I'm going to hold him not coming out for the 7th inning in Game 5 last year against Seattle. I'm going to hold that against him for the rest of his career until he does something to show that he's not a selfish dog. Okay, because he threw the Tigers under the bus last year. 1 inning, 15 pitches. Really? Really? Okay. Disgusting. Seriously, disgusting. If I were the Tigers, I wouldn't offer him a big money deal because of that. You showed me your true colors, dude.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you're a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Some rings are beautiful. The Koi rings are unforgettable. April 17th through the 19th, Koi brings their entire collection to the Diamond District. Extraordinary engagement, breathtaking wedding bands, and Koi's newest fine jewelry for spring. Here for one unforgettable weekend. The Legend of Takoi, April 17th through the 19th at the Diamond District. Hablamos Español.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
EPA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com, capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I have shut down everything that's not necessary on my computer. Hopefully that will keep me alive here this hour, David.
Yep. Kind of, crossing our fingers. Broadcasting gods are taking over at this point.
Well, I'm done everything I can do. Limitless hour.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour on this hump day, the final one of March. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Mark, we mentioned it briefly last hour about Lavonte David, and this is the difference between the Pro Football Hall of Fame and really most every other sports Hall of Fame. The others are very much about the numbers. We've talked at length. The NFL's not about the numbers, but if there are numbers that are meaningful, it's all pro selections, not Pro Bowl selections. And we all know that's become a joke this decade. But all pro, first team all pro, second team all pro. Because, Mark, would it surprise you to know that Lavonte David had the same number of tackles as Derrick Brooks?
Okay. It surprised me a little, I guess. But Lavonte David was a tackling machine. So when you say it, I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I don't think he's as good as Derrick Brooks, but he had as many tackles. Okay. It's a position and a defense that was structured for him to get a lot of tackles.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And he did his job. There's no doubt about it. I think he's tied for 6th all time in tackles. Pretty impressive. I mean, your job is to tackle. You're one of the 10 best tacklers, if you will. I mean, does that get you in the Hall of Fame? I think it should garner you serious consideration. He has, Mark, more tackles for losses, sacks than Zach Thomas. Zach has a few more tackles, but Lavonte's impact plays, if you will, you could argue, he's got more of them. Well, that bodes well because Zach's in the Hall of Fame, right?
Right. That would bode very well to me. Those are big numbers, David. I mean, those are important numbers, if you know what I mean.
Right. I think the person making the case for Lavonte David is going to make a really good case. I think, Lavonte David's problem. Fair or unfair? Zach Thomas was a 7-time All-Pro, 5-time first-team All-Pro, and 2-time second-team All-Pro. Lavonte David, 3-time All-Pro, 1-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time second-team All-Pro. All the other numbers, Lavonte, he's a Hall of Famer. If you're going to go numbers, he's going to go a Hall of Famer. But if you're going numbers, then the All-Pro number has to be brought up. And that's a big difference. Just saying. So we'll see. I mean, he's going to get his Ring of Honor and deserves it. Absolutely deserves it. Don't know if he's going to get Canton, though.
That All-Pro number's big, David. because that's how they determine all-decade teams. And not every guy that's on an all-decade team's in the Hall of Fame. You could argue they all should be. The ones that aren't, you and I kind of scratch our head that they're not in the Hall of Fame.
Doesn't make sense to us. If you're judged to be one of the 2 to 4 best players at your position over a 10-year period of time, I don't know. I could work that into the definition of a Hall of Famer, and I know you could too, Mark.
Yeah. That's, to us, that's always been big. And I know there's a few guys that are on it that aren't in. But man, oh man, that's a big deal. And that all-pro one is also very important to those people in the room.
Yeah.
And I do think it's a tough position now to get into the Hall of Fame. I think every year that goes on, linebacker, particularly in the middle, if you will, the Mike linebacker, rather, it's a tougher position to get into the Hall than it once was. It's not thought of as important as it once was.
And let's face it, you need a groundswell to all of a sudden come up. It happens in baseball too, where all of a sudden the analytics people said, why is Burt Blyleven not in the Hall of Fame? And they made a big push, and they got others to finally pay attention and look at his candidacy differently. Same thing happened with Zach Thomas. I mean, Jason Taylor went in quickly. And then, after about a half a dozen years, the movement started. Hold on a second. Okay. Have you compared Zach Thomas to Brian Urlacher? Okay. I don't know that there was much difference. Well, if Urlacher races into the Hall of Fame, then why do we have the doors shut and locked on Zach Thomas?
And David, Tampa Bay fans, and I know we're on primarily in Tampa and Jacksonville this hour. Tampa Bay fans aren't going to want to hear this. A Buck has a harder time to get into the Hall of Fame than a guy from a lot of other teams. There's a stigma with that franchise. And I know he won a title there. I get it. And maybe that will help push him over. I don't know. But I don't think if you were just to ask me to start out, hey, Lavonte David retired, do you think he's going to get into the Hall of Fame? My initial answer would have been no, I don't.
I will say this, though, and I agree with you that I think a Bucks player may not get the consideration that players from other franchises do. Okay. But I forget the name of the gentleman who, when a Bucks player is a finalist, he's the one that does the presentation.
Isn't it Rick Stroud?
I said that one time, and I thought somebody pointed out that it was someone else. Okay. But whoever makes the presentations for Bucks players is damn near perfect. Like, apparently he's really good at it.
Ira Kaufman, RCB pointed out. Okay. Well, and I will say this. I do think in the next few years, I think there's going to be a monumental change to the Hall of Fame. I think this whole Belichick not getting in, people upset about who the voters are. I don't know if they're going to increase the number of voters. I don't know if they're going to change some voters. But David, maybe I'm wrong, and you may disagree with me wholeheartedly. I think there's change coming to the voting process of the Hall of Fame by at the latest, the end of this decade.
Well, they only allow 50 people to vote. Handpicked.
Right now.
50 people, right. You compare that to other halls of fame, that's a very small number. Obviously, the baseball, they do the writers. It's not till you get to special committee where it's like 16 people. But, when you're on the general ballot, so to speak, it's like 450 that can vote for you. So, Mark, listen, you and I, and this is more my thing than yours, but I so hope you're right. And I don't know what that change is going to be. Okay. And quite frankly, I even debate with myself as to what the change should be. But I do know certain people, T.O. having to wait 3 times to get in. I mean, that's just embarrassing. Yeah, I don't care. It doesn't matter if you don't like the guy. It doesn't matter if you don't want him on your team. I mean, it's a joke to pass over T.O. twice. It's an absolute joke. Bill Belichick's not a Hall of Famer. I mean, come on.
And I know they changed the rules for coaches. So just for a moment, David, I'll just move the coaches to the side and let's just talk about players. Let me propose one change to you. And first off, they're not putting everybody in, period, on the final, which is blowing David and I away, that 4 guys are getting in out of the 15.
Yeah.
But to me, you should be able to vote for as many players as you want. Yes or no? But what if they just took 5 to 6 or 7 each year of the players? I think if you, and maybe it's the wrong group, but if you had the NFL alumni vote on that, because, the baseball alumni are pretty strong in their opinions about who should and who shouldn't get in. Or for that matter, if they just were to poll NFL Hall of Famers, living NFL Hall of Famers, how many should get in every year? 5, 6, 7. I think they'd increase it. We've had the same number forever. We have more teams. We have more players. It's actually harder to get in now than it was, a generation ago.
I completely agree with you. I know a lot of us don't like a quota, like, hey, here's a number. You have to put in so many players. I think and you and I don't think have ever advocated for a quota in sports in any way before, but you and I have been pounding the table for years thinking that of the 15 semifinalists, we think like at least 11 of them are Hall of Famers, and we're trying to, narrow it down to the right 5, so to speak. And so it keeps baffling us that they're not putting in the maximum number every year.
So that's and when they had the anniversary year and put in all the players to try to make up for some we think are some wrongs, they did. But unless they plan on doing that again in 15 years or whatever, they're going to be in the same situation, because to me there are a lot of and I don't like Hall of Very Good. I give David a hard time. But when we talk about this, it's about as serious as I get on the show. It is immortality in sports.
Listen,
and you have to hit a certain threshold to get there. But I think many of these players have hit it, David, and they're not getting in.
Well, I think also the system is broken, because I think there have been guys put in the Hall of Fame recently who are not Hall of Famers. And meanwhile, there are 3 wide receivers who right now can't get the number of votes, and they're all Hall of Famers. And it's staggering. I mean, Torrey Holt and Reggie Wayne are not in the Hall of Fame. I mean, have you watched football? I mean, I don't get it. But like, I have no problem Eli Manning not being in the Hall of Fame. I really don't. No problem at all. But there's like 7 other guys that are on the ballot right now. How in the world are they not in? Staggering to me. So whichever way you want to change it, I'll back you. I really will. And then I'll worry about it down the line, whether or not you made a mistake.
Well,
seriously,
if there's a mistake to be made, I can make it.
And I can be right there with you. Yes, absolutely. Miller and Moulton, part of our charm. We don't make one mistake. We make 2.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Some rings are beautiful. The Koi rings are unforgettable. April 17th through the 19th, Koi brings their entire collection to the Diamond District. Extraordinary engagement, breathtaking wedding bands, and Koi's newest fine jewelry for spring. Here for one unforgettable weekend. The Legend of Koi, April 17th through the 19th at the Diamond District. Hablamos Español.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I got to admit, as I'm going through days 45 through 60 on my daughter's reasons to get a dog, I think she got a little lazy on me. And I know I can't get one when I first get out of here because there's no way, because I'm not allowed to basically let a dog lick on my face. And I'm not getting a puppy unless I can, just be a total goofball.
Right.
But I've been looking at a website for dogs and I got the itch badly.
Huh. Well, what's it been, about 3 years?
Yeah, it'll be 3 in November. Yeah, I've got an app, Javier, where I can track the breeders, see the parents. And I don't know if Waggles is like a mall dog shop. You got to remember what my wife does for a living. That would never be accepted. Not that there's anything wrong with that place. I'm sure they do just fine. But anything that screams puppy mill is kind of anti the veterinarian world. The Good Dog app has been my latest. Between that and Verbo. Not that I can go anywhere this summer. I still just look.
What's Waggles? Oh, a dog place? Got it. My wife desperately wants animals again, but physically she can't take care of them. And it's killing her.
Cat. cat. They take care of themselves. Especially now with that litter robot. It's expensive, David, but if you start with that litter robot, you don't even have to scoop. It's like a nickel, but it works. Wish we'd have gotten it earlier. One cat uses it, the other one wants nothing to do with it.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour on this hump day, final one of March in 2026. We're planning on having Andy Freed, longtime radio play-by-play voice of the Tampa Bay Rays, on the show tomorrow. Rays opener is later in the day tomorrow. I believe they're on the south side against the White Sox. Marlins don't open up until Friday, and I believe they open up at home. A bunch of poll questions today. One of them about baseball. What's your excitement level for the season? And your excitement level is teetering, Mark.
Yes.
Because overjoyed is just getting 24% of the vote. Really don't care. Wake me up July 4th is 29%. So the middle 47% is I hope my team gets off to a good start. So that seems to be where half our audience is. Kind of like, I'll get back to you late April. Tell you how interested I am. Okay. Today,
Got to admit, I saw an ad yesterday, David, because my team's opening day is on MLB Network, and it's another network I don't get on the YouTube TV down. I'm like, son of a... I was ready for a little Spartan hockey at 1, a little Tiger baseball at 4:40. I was like, this is going to be a hell of a day. I can go to bed at 7:30 and have a full day.
Well, hopefully you can work around it, because I know you've got great interest in both. Not only that, it'll keep you from watching the Wings, which nowadays is much better for your health. Mark's first moment of the day where he went after me was in a poll question. He said today is David Moulton Day, when actually he was trying to make the point that today is Manatee Appreciation Day. Now that's a friend right there. That's a good friend. Okay. You only go after somebody that hard when you're a good friend, not a casual one. So then he jokingly said, all right, what's your favorite Florida water creature? The dolphin has gone up and down. Big lead, tight. Now the dolphin with like a 10 percentage point lead. Alligator, sea turtle, right there. Manatee, distant fourth.
I get it. The dolphin for most of you is just lovable, unless you like to fish. And then they eat all the fish in your hole and you hate them. You do. They're cute. They jump really high. They're smart. I get it. The alligator, people are fascinated by alligators. I have watched the lack of fear people have with that creature has always amazed me.
Not me.
I've played golf, when I used to work with the Everblades, going way back, we played at a course, and I know we're not on in Southwest Florida, but the Southwest Floridians, we played at we had a deal at Wildcat Run. Well, this is 25 years ago. That wasn't developed out there. There wasn't 75 million neighborhoods down Corkscrew. There was one. That was it. And there were big gators on that. I mean, big gators on that course. And players would whack them with clubs, sneak up behind them. And I'm like, you are out of your flipping mind.
Oh, my goodness. My goodness. I've never picked up the ball and advanced it or picked up the ball and given away a score. Then when I moved to Florida and played golf, and there all of a sudden a gator appears. It's like, okay, we're done. I'm done anyway.
I told the story before, but I would go up to Michigan for a couple of weeks every summer, and I'd play in a golf tournament, and I'd play a little more golf. And I used to sneak out of work in the summer regularly because the boss was never there in the summer. And I would blow out at around 2 o'clock, 2:30, and sneak over to Wildcat and play 9 or 12 holes, because 12 came back to the clubhouse. So you could play 1 through 12 and call it a day if you wanted to. And there was never anybody there in the summer. So you could play those 12 holes in an hour if I'm by myself in a cart. The fourth hole there is a great par 5 all along the water. There was a big gator on that hole. Biggest gator I've ever seen on a golf course, not named Streamsong, because Streamsong's got some damn near monsters out there. But this was a big gator. This was every bit of 10, 12 foot. It's one of the biggest gators I've ever seen in my life. Well, I'd come back from Michigan, where there are no gators on golf courses.
Right.
And for whatever reason, I'm an idiot, and I wasn't thinking about it. And I happened to pull my drive on the fourth hole near the water. And I pulled my cart up, and I went to hit my second shot. And usually you get out of the cart, you look around at what's around to make sure there's nothing there. Just it's habit if you play golf in Florida where there's gators. And I didn't look. And I am over my ball, addressing my ball, when I look behind me, and if that monster, I don't know, 30, 40 feet away from me, close enough to nearly make me soil my pants. I couldn't believe how close the gator was and that I didn't notice. And I just reached down, I picked up my ball, I got in the cart, and I drove away. And I was damn near shaking.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And for people who, will whack it, and I get if you're behind it, you're in a better spot than if it's facing you. You don't have to run faster than the gator. You have to run faster than one person in your foursome. I get all of that. But that's about as close as I've ever wanted to come with the gator looking at me. It wasn't the tail. It was this big, gigantic head. And I freaked out. And I'm going to drop over here, and we're going to hit 2 from over here. But that's the only time. But I've watched people walk up and whack them on the tail with the golf club. And I'm good for you. You're tougher than I am, or you're even dumber than I am.
So dolphin, sea turtle, gator, manatee, those are your choices. Today's International Waffle Day. And apparently people just put syrup on their waffles and they really don't consider anything else. Although right now, second place is I don't eat waffles at 15%. But over 70% of people put syrup. They don't consider butter or fruit.
Yeah, I think the waffle's a slight bit underrated. People go pancakes. They go French toast. You got to have the waffle maker. In fact, they have one here at the Hope Lodge. I may have a waffle later. Sounds pretty good.
It's funny. I like the waffle more than the pancake. Now, I don't like anything more than French toast, but I would actually choose waffle over the pancake for whatever that's worth.
Got to get some good thick bread for that French toast, though.
No doubt. No doubt.
It's all about the bread.
Just like pizza. It's all about the bread and the crust. Absolutely. Hey, I just throwing this out there. If Hubert Davis released a statement right after getting fired, said, hey, it was a dream, blah, blah, blah. By the way, I'm still very interested in coaching, and I want to coach immediately. Oh, okay. I'm being serious when I suggest this. If you were South Florida, would you call Hubert Davis?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, they're calling the High Point guys apparently one of, 3 right now being mentioned. Okay. But I'm just curious, would you, if you're South Florida, would you consider Hubert Davis?
Look, most of those guys are going to North Carolina because of NIL money. South Florida is out there saying we're not afraid to spend. If Hubert Davis could bring one of those kids with him because he had and he's paying them, I get it's money first, but they liked him and wanted to play for him? Yes.
Okay. Hubert
Wouldn't
Davis.
you?
Hubert Davis or their High Point coach, Flynn Clayman.
High Point coach.
Okay.
I like his attitude, David.
All right.
And I am with Josh Graham. Hubert Davis's comments, and we read
Oh,
them
my
on the
goodness.
air the next day, David.
Oh, my goodness.
We
No.
literally talked about it. So he didn't surprise us with what he said about the postgame. That postgame was miserable.
I don't say this lightly. Hubert Davis was so bad in the postgame that I thought he was having a medical event. It was unbelievable how bad he was at answering questions in that postgame. Staggering. But just wondering, I mean, they just hired Brian Hartline from Ohio State for football. Just wondering, do you call Hubert Davis? He's available.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Phil's fan, let me ask you, because I thought David brought up excellent points. A lot of pressure on that starting pitching this year, a lot of pressure on a lineup that's older. I mean, it's win the division or bust, right? Or does it just make the playoffs? Because I guess it really doesn't matter as long as you get in. But it's definitely, I mean, if anything short of the playoffs, you've had a horrible season, right?
Oh, my God, yeah. I mean, I don't know how many more runs this group has.
I'd hate to be a fan of a team in the National League right now. I mean, I would. I just think come playoff time, you're at such a disadvantage. And I don't think there's any one team that has close to the advantage that the Dodgers have in the American League. Like if the Tigers get in the playoffs, I think they got a shot to go to the World Series. Whereas if I'm a fan of a lot of National League teams, it's like, okay, we got to the playoffs. That's it. That's as far as we can go. Doesn't mean that the regular season won't be fun to watch and all that, but Yeah, I don't know if they still are at Wildcat with all the home building out there. I don't know how many big Gator, and I haven't played Wildcat in a couple, 3 years. I used to play it once in a while in the summer when we were shut down, but I didn't go anywhere last summer but like one other course, 2 other courses. Our guys love Miramar, the guys I play with. We're all for it. Have been for years, Drutharian. All for it. And we think the floor is what Manford should be selling to the rank and file, that salaries will actually go up for most of you. We think Manford is approaching this the wrong way.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till we're done. Andy Freed expected to be amongst our guests on tomorrow's show as the Rays get their season underway. The longtime radio voice of the Rays, he will join us tomorrow on Miller and Moulton.
Lots of poll questions to vote on. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X. If you're not a subscriber to X, you can text us your answers on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. 21,000 is the number. Miller is the keyword. If you've never texted the show before, text Miller to 21,000 and then let us know what you think. Anytime, day or night, there's a chance I might answer immediately. Just depends on how bored I am that day. That's really what it boils down to.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
The first U.S. Army Medal of Honor was awarded to 6 soldiers today in 1863. The League of Nations becomes a reality today in 1919. The first Augusta National Invitational Tournament was today in 1934. Horton Smith, your winner. He made a 20-foot birdie on 17, beating Craig Wood by a shot. Today in 1954, RCA manufactures the first colored TV set. Kids, are you ready? It was 12 and a half inches. It cost $1,000. Raj, I hope you're paying attention to this one because a couple of bands made their U.S. debut today at Murray the K's Easter Show in 1967. The Who and Cream. That's a double bill.
That's an amazing double bill.
Yes, it is. Also today in 67, UCLA beats Dayton by 15. This guy named Lou Alcindor was the tournament most outstanding player. John and Yoko staged their bet-in today in 69 at the Hilton in Amsterdam. 3 things in 72. First, Bobby Hall becomes the second NHLer to score 600. Secondly, the debut album by America goes #1 in the land. That horse had no name, David, in case you were wondering.
I heard a rumor.
And also in 72, this team named UCLA would make it 6 straight for the Bruins. This time, the most outstanding player, this guy named Walton. Today in 82, Gretzky becomes the first NHLer to score 200 points in a single season. 200. 83, we saw the moonwalk for the first time at Motown 25. The Miracles, the Temptations, the Four Tops, Diana Ross and the Supremes, and the Jackson 5 with Michael Jackson unveiling his moonwalk dance move.
I thought you were talking like Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin there.
I'm sure you did. I think it was 16 days after he died. Biggie's Life After Death album was released today in 1997. Tiger returned to #1 in the world today in 2013. And it was 4 years ago that the Foo Fighters lost drummer Taylor Hawkins at the age of 50.
People forget about 2013 for Tiger. You know, he backed out of his driveway. I think it was around Thanksgiving in 2009. And people remember him winning the Masters, and they don't remember. In 2013, he won 5 times. He was Player of the Year on tour. Didn't win a major, but he won 5 times and was Player of the Year on tour and was back to being the #1 golfer in the world.
Howard Cosell, Aretha Franklin, and Jeff Healey would have all celebrated birthdays today. Jeff Healey had a guest spot in one of the cheesiest movies ever. With now I can't think of the name of the damn movie. With the bouncer, Patrick Swayze. We've all seen it a million times.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse. Thank you, Raj. They remade it. He's the blind guitarist. That's Dalton. That's his little line in that. Tom Monahan. Domino's, Ave Maria. He's 89. Elton John, he's 79. This is for David. Lee Mazzilli, 71.
Boy, those bad Mets teams in the late 70s and early 80s, it was either John Stearns or Lee Mazzilli. That was your all-star game representative right there.
Who didn't have a Lee Mazzilli card at one point in their life if you collected baseball cards? Jessica Parker is 61. Tom Glavine is 60. Cheryl Swoops, 55. Vladimir Klitschko, 50. Danica Patrick, 44. Kyle Lowry is 40. Sha'Carri Richardson, she runs fast and she drives fast. She's 26. And Pete Crow Armstrong can celebrate that big contract. Today is his 24th birthday. What did I miss, David?
Well, first off, we should all remember Tom Glavine because he's going to be the answer to a trivia question long after his death. The last 300-game winner in Major League Baseball. You think anybody's going to win 300 again? I mean, with Scherzer and Verlander, getting some late career injuries and slowing down, I thought Verlander was the only chance we had. And what's he at, like 260?
Right. He'd have to pitch for 3 more years. That ain't going to happen.
No. Glavine's going to be it. The last 300-game winner in Major League Baseball history.
Drafted in baseball and hockey.
Yes.
When I worked for the Atlanta Knights, he came out and did a practice with the team when he was with the Braves.
LA Kings, right?
Yes.
Gotta remember that.
Anything?
No.
Other than the
no,
okay.
you nailed it all.
I got you.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to Kentucky for the good, where firefighters rescued a dog that became trapped in a cave 40 feet underground. The Jessamine Fire District said on social media crews responded in the area of a dog trapped in a cave. They used a rope system to lower the rescuer 30 to 45 feet down, and the firefighter and dog were hoisted out of the system. For the bad, we go to San Carlos Park in Southwest Florida, where on Saturday a man was arrested after damaging multiple FP&L power boxes. Apparently, he left 3,500 people without power. Tony Moore Jr., who lived nearby, was arrested. 45-year-old. Not sure why he did it, but it doesn't seem to make. Don't go after FP&L. It's almost like the phone cops back in the late 70s, early 80s. Finally, the ugly, we go to Columbia, Missouri, where a Lake Ozark man has been charged with 2 misdemeanors after he was accused of exposing himself at a Miller County bar on Friday. Jeremy Chorpernick was arrested on a slew of charges, including resisting arrest. After he exposed himself in front of an entire bar, he ran out trying to resist from police. They used a stun gun. He was not affected. He was later found behind the Walk and Roll restaurant. I'll take the beef and broccoli. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, Wednesday, March the 25th. And it's brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. For those of you in Jacksonville and the Tampa area, police officers maybe looking for a new gig, Cape Coral's hiring. $10,000 signing bonus. Great pay, great signing bonus, a lot of overtime opportunities available. Other jobs also available. For more information, go to capecops.com. That's capecops.com.
Well, we got baseball tonight. As we've told you, 8 o'clock, Netflix, just one game. Yankees at San Francisco Giants. Got Max Fried for the Yankees, Logan Webb for the Giants. New manager for the Giants, Tony Vitelli, straight from the University of Tennessee, has never spent a day as a minor league, winter league coach or manager in professional baseball until tonight. This hasn't been done in Major League Baseball history.
By the way, 80.5 is the Giants' number, over under, for what it's worth.
Oh, boy. That's right around what they were last year, too.
Yes, it is.
They're going to have Devers for a full year. Oh, boy. New manager. I might lean over because I also don't think the Padres are going to be as good. The Diamondbacks still have some issues. So I might lean over, but I don't think it's going to be a lot, though. Like, I don't think the Giants win more than 85.
90.5, I believe, is the Yankees number.
I would pound the over.
Look at you.
They're the best team right now on paper in that division, and they don't have Garrett Cole and Carlos Rodon. Their pitching has pitching. Now, of course, Judge gets hurt. They're a 74-win team. But, I mean, if Judge is going to stay healthy, They won 94 games last year. And I think they're going to be better than they were last year. So I would pound the over with the Yankees.
Yankee fans have to be happy hearing that.
Wouldn't surprise me if they have the best record in the American League. Now, that doesn't mean squat come the playoffs, and they'll have all the pressure on them no matter what. And I think the Red Sox are the biggest threat to the Yankees in the East this year. A lot of pitching injuries for the Jays to start the year. And they lost their shortstop. So I don't think they're as good to start the year. All right, that's the one baseball game. We got 12 NBA games. Your Pistons get the 7 o'clock game on ESPN. Hawks and Pistons. All right. It's a good game. 9:30, Houston and Minnesota. Another good game. How surprising is this, though? Not nationally televised. Oklahoma City at Boston. Wow. That's one that slipped through the cracks.
Well, and I was talking to a buddy yesterday. I think anybody who knows me that I'm not a Celtics fan, but they're a team I might enjoy watching as much as anybody in the league because it seems that night in, night out, they play hard.
Uh-huh.
Like, I think that team gives maximum effort damn near every night. And I can't say that about a lot of teams in the league. I think you can say it about San Antonio. I think you can say it about Boston. I actually think you can say it about Detroit, but they just sometimes the effort's not there, or the team's not there. But, I don't think you can say that about but 10 teams in the league. Maybe 5, David.
By the way, the Heat are in Cleveland. Magic took their shot at the Cavs last night, lost by 5. Heat take their shot tonight. Magic, Heat, Hornets, all tied for 8th right now. 8, 9, and 10. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Just
two hockey
games in the National Hockey League.
Yeah. The big one, Boston at Buffalo. It's the old Adams division, right?
Let's go, Sabres. Come on. I need you.
Well, and then Lightning fans are like, what the hell are you talking about? Go Sabres.
Well, I'm sorry. You're in the playoffs. The team I root for isn't, okay? You're gonna be fine whether you're in first or second. You're playing Buffalo in the second round. And you don't need home ice, and you know that.
Oh, we don't need it, but we want it. What are you doing? But I know. I got to think, self-preservation here. I got you. There are 2 NIT games tonight if you're really, jonesing. Thought I had because, there is betting involved, Mark. Dayton, a 7.5-point favorite at home against Illinois State, and Auburn, a 9.5-point favorite at home against Nevada. Those 2 games on ESPN2 at 7 and 9. So,
all right.
That'll do it.
That's about it.
Yep.
Tournament gets going again tomorrow. The hockey tournament gets going tomorrow.
Sure does.
Miller and Moulton, big fans of the NCAA hockey tournament.
Frozen Four in Vegas this year. Mm-hmm. Beats Albany.
No one's ever uttered a more truthful phrase in their life before. Miller and Moulton, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe. and
EPA
sound.
Commissioner Adam Silver will visit Lee County in April as he is recognized by the Edison Awards as their Achievement Award honoree. His recognition not only highlights his leadership within professional sports, but also his broader influence on business, technology, and social responsibility. The Edison Awards recognize thought leadership from around the globe, making Silver's visit a significant moment for Lee County. Visit EdisonAwards.com for event details and tickets. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
See you, Raj. Thanks, man.
Sorry, I didn't hear you there.
Oh, I said thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.